Lord of the Apocalypse, I start with a level 10 unit. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76. Started to rant, brave and good at fighting, which eye of yours has seen that our arms are brave and good at fighting? The rank, level, and number are all lower than yours. Is it appropriate to entrust us with the important task of being a striker? Yuhai became angry, and instantly aroused the sympathy of several other lords, and at this moment they all agreed, that's right, every tough battle is fought with our people at the front. Leader, this is how you treat people? Are you talking about compensation according to the price? Every time you say that, if you lose it in the end, can you change it to something fresh? Our ears are getting calloused. Enraged by these people, Zhang Dehao blushed and became angry too, and said viciously, guys, could it be that you are going to disobey the leader's order? As soon as the words fell, Zhang Dehao's supporters surrounded Feng Yun, Yuhai and other lords in the middle. Yuhai snorted coldly and mocked secretly, leader, you also have the face to call yourself the leader? Zhang Dehao's dog legs were furious. A strong man over 2 meters tall and wearing battle armor walked up to Yuhai with a big knife, and looked at him commandingly. What did you say? A flash of anger flashed in Yuhai's eyes, and he was about to curse a few words, but was grabbed by Feng Yun. They're all allies of the alliance, everyone. Don't hurt your peace. This time, we will take over the tough battle. Zhang Dehao laughed, with the attitude of a winner. That's right, look at the consciousness of Lord Feng, and look at you, you really don't care about the alliance at all. This leader is ashamed for you. Feng Yun shook his head lightly when he heard the words, but before attacking, I still have one condition. Zhang Dehao frowned. What are the conditions? This Feng Yun is going to make trouble. The surrounding lords who were originally suspicious because Feng Yun agreed to the tough battle were all the same. Does Feng Yun have any plans of his own? We can fight this tough battle, and after we capture this territory, we don't need any spoils. However, I hope that after this battle, the leader can agree to our withdrawal from the alliance. Withdrawal from the alliance. As soon as the words came out, everyone in the field was stunned, including Zhang Dehao. He is also full of hesitation. Feng Yun actually said that he would withdraw from the alliance. Yuhai and others also reacted at this moment, catering to Feng Yun's meaning. That's right, I hope the ally leader can make it happen. We don't want anything, we just hope that after this battle, we can have a free body. Zhang Dehao's face turned blue and purple for a while. Isn't this a clear statement that he is not good as the leader? A piece of land is by no means a problem as for Feng Yun and others. Since they have the intention of withdrawing from the alliance, then make the best use of everything. Just take advantage of this tough battle to get rid of them while you can also eliminate a potential enemy for yourself. So happy. Thinking of this, Zhang Dehao nodded. Well, since the lords don't want to follow me Zhang to fight for the last days, if you quit the alliance, you will quit the alliance. But everyone, don't forget today's task. Chapter 116. Enter standing, exit sideways. One more subscription required. At the end, Zhang Dehao's tone became cold. Withdrawing from the alliance. Of course you can withdraw, but you can only withdraw sideways, that is. Go out dead naturally. Feng Yun and the others didn't know about these flamboyant things in Zhang Dehao's heart. Now they just want to leave the union. If you stay here again, sooner or later, you will be beaten to death by Zhang Dehao. Instead of this, it is better to leave early and find another job. As for today's mission, there is no other way. If Zhang Dehao doesn't benefit from it, he will never allow himself to wait for others to leave at the beginning. Feng Yun and others were forced to join the United Alliance by Zhang Dehao. On the one hand, he was forced, and on the other hand, he did not understand the rules of the alliance, so he signed the strictest unilateral agreement with Zhang Dehao, just like the upper-lower territory agreement signed by Suyi and Vulcan. It is very domineering, must obey the leader's orders 100%. It is not even possible to withdraw from the alliance voluntarily. You must get the approval of the leader before you can safely withdraw from the alliance, and this is also the reason why Feng Yun wanted to say those words just now. There is no way. Without Zhang Dehao's permission, they can't even withdraw from the alliance. Several, get ready, start attacking in 10 minutes, catch them by surprise. Zhang Dehao urged. He couldn't wait for a moment, and wished for it immediately. Invade the city and occupy the territory of the tree demon. Feng Yun nodded, did not speak, and prepared to leave with Yuhai and others, but at this moment, there was the sound of flapping wings above everyone's heads. It made everyone in the audience frown. Zhang Dehao's dog legs looked up to the sky, and through the gap in the jungle, They soon saw a huge monster flying through the air. The 20 to 30 meter long body, fiery red scales, and piercing coercion made their faces turn pale. Damn it, it's a dragon. It's a dragon. Zhang Dehao's face changed slightly. Before he could open his mouth to tell everyone to shut up, the giant dragon in the sky has discovered their existence. Needless to say, the dragons who came here at this moment are naturally Suyi and Qilai. Before Suyi noticed that there was thick smoke coming from this side, so he rode blazing towards this side, never thought about it. Before flying to the destination, Qilai made a new discovery in the dense jungle below them. There seems to be a legion that cannot be ignored. It was so close to the tree demon's territory, and before that, Suyi hadn't noticed any clues at all. Thinking of the thick smoke again, Suyi immediately understood this is someone's idea of attacking the tree demon's territory, and the thick smoke may be a signal to him. Thinking of this, Suyi already had some ideas in his heart, and patted his fiery head. Spray some fire on me, let's see where it is. Holy, without saying hello, approaching the ground quietly, knowing without saying anything, he is definitely not a good person. Since he is not a good person, then Suyi will not be polite. Qilai understood Suyi's meaning, and when he opened his mouth, a mouthful of dragon's breath spewed out. The scorching flames swept across, burning the crowns of several big trees in an instant. The allied forces hiding under the jungle were also exposed to Suyi at this moment. There are job changers, there are arms, and there are a lot of them. And they are watching this sight at the moment. Seeing that the allied forces had been exposed, Zhang Dehao was furious and raised the spear in his hand above his head. Attack, I will kill them. After the voice fell, the allied troops reacted instantly, picked up their weapons, and launched a frenzied attack towards Qilai and Suyi. Arrows, magic, wind blades, and even stones, crazily smashed towards blazing. Qilai has a bad temper, and when he saw these guys dare to attack him, he immediately became furious. Another dragon's breath fell, burning many of the allied troops below to death at the same time. More areas were exposed to Suyi. Obviously, the number of allied forces has exceeded Suyi's expectation. There are so many, it seems that this battle is a bit troublesome. The distance is too close, and with the jungle as a cover, it is inevitable that blazing will not be able to use it. A lot of life points were knocked out by intensive various attacks. This made Suyi frown a little. Patted blazing's head, ignite the fire, burn them to death, and then return to the tree demon territory. Going deep into the enemy camp like this is a bit dangerous. Suyi is going to return to the tree demon's territory first and then make a long-term plan. Fiercely understanding, and not being polite to the allies, he flapped his wings and lit the fire all the way. The scorching dragon's breath instantly ignited the jungle, turning it into a sea of flames. The allied troops hiding in the jungle screamed as they were burned. Quick, get out of here. Zhang Dehao urgently ordered. Ride a giant elephant and run towards the plain outside the jungle. As long as you leave here, you will be much safer. Fang Yun and the others didn't expect such a result, and they were a little flustered at the moment. Lord Fang, what should we do now? Yu Hai asked. Fang Yun glanced at the panicked allied troops around, and said in a deep voice, it doesn't matter, let's evacuate here first. Several lords nodded, and began to run out of the jungle with their troops. The allied forces fled frantically. Suyi's plan had already worked, and he let Qilai fly higher, prepare to return to the dry territory. Before going back, Suyi glanced in the direction of the bonfire. I saw a small army. The leader is none other than Li Zan. It seems that this guy should be the one who lit the bonfire to announce the news. Without stopping any longer, Suyi hurried back to the city on a blazing horse. Suzir has been paying attention to the situation here, and now she can't help frowning when she sees the dragon's breath igniting the forest. After Suyi jumped off Blazing's back, he quickly went up to meet him. Brother, what happened? Suyi showed an angry expression. Some things that don't have long eyes are coming to invade us. Let all the arms stop cleaning up the battlefield and station here, and then move Lei Ling and the big snow monster over to prepare to resist the invasion. Seeing that Suyi didn't seem to be joking at all, Su Kainer didn't dare to hesitate, and quickly used her lord's authority to summon the troops and gather quickly. Chapter 117. To be cannon fodder, you must look like cannon fodder. Subscription required for the second watch. In front of the giant territory, a large number of allied troops began to run out of the woods. Running at the forefront is Zhang Dehao. This guy is not only treacherous, but also has first-class ability to escape. At this moment, he had a lot of charcoal on his face, and he looked a little embarrassed, and his eyes seemed to be gnashing his teeth when he looked at the tree demon's territory. Asshole, Zhang Dehao cursed secretly. Leader, what should we do now? Our whereabouts have been discovered in advance, asked a dog-leg. Zhang Dehao was upright and didn't fight anywhere. Hearing this, he snorted coldly. I'm not blind. Tell Fang Yun and the others quickly, and let them take action. Discover in advance. There are ways of playing that are discovered in advance, but no matter what kind of style of play, Zhang Dehao will not let Fang Yun go easily. Since you want to withdraw from the alliance, let's just contribute the last remaining heat to the alliance. A few dogs were ordered to run towards the direction where Fang Yun and the others were. After a brief panic, the allied forces had largely withdrawn from the woods. Casualties were minor, but not negligible. Lord Fang, the Lord has ordered you to immediately. Chapter 77. Attack. Zhang Dehao's dog-legged way. Fang Yun clenched his fist, angry in his heart, but helpless. He knew he couldn't escape. Turning to look at Yu Hai and the others, get ready, let the low-level units charge first. Yu Hai and the others frowned. What about us? Fang Yun chuckled, and looked in the direction of the Dryad's territory. We have little chance of winning this battle, so let's not make fearless sacrifices. Compared to Zhang Dehao, Fang Yun appears to be more thoughtful. Ever since he saw the tree demon territory, he has been observing the strength of the guards in this territory. Now I see the crowd shaking on the city wall. And the dragon incident just now. Fang Yun already guessed that it would be absolutely difficult to capture the tree demon's territory. Even if it can be captured by luck, the allies will inevitably pay the price. It is precisely because he knows this that he will not risk his life rashly in this battle. He has only one purpose, and that is to break away from the United Alliance. As for the siege, he no longer has this thought. Although Yu Hai and the others didn't know why Fang Yun said these things, they believed in Fang Yun, and immediately dispatched their own troops, united with one, and went straight to the tree demon's territory. The low-level arms of the 6 or 7 lords add up to close to 2,000. A dark cloud formed and went straight to the territory of the Dryad. At the same time, Zhang Dehao took out a loudspeaker and started shouting, cough cough. It is really a loudspeaker, specially provided for siege. 50 coins can buy a bunch. It looks like a trumpet flower. Shouting at the loudspeaker can amplify the sound dozens of times. You can hear it even at a great distance. Listen to the frontiers. We are the Hezhong Alliance. If you are sensible, give up the territory and open the city gates. Otherwise, our army will forcefully charge the territory. At that time, don't blame us for being rude. Zhang Dehao's voice was thick, and after being amplified by the loudspeaker, it was quickly transmitted to Su Yi's ears on the city wall of the tree demon's territory. On the city wall, Su Yi heard Zhang Dehao's threat. Her face turned pale, and she tightly clenched the corner of Su Yi's clothes. Brother, what should I do? With a calm face, Su Yi patted Su Yi's little hand, signaling to reassure her. Zhang Helik. Zhang Helik. He seems to have heard the name somewhere. Suddenly, Su Yi's eyes lit up, and he remembered last life more than 1,000 kilometers to the east of Zhongzhou. There is indeed a very powerful alliance called Zhonghe Alliance. The leader seems to be a man named Zhang Dehao. This person's reputation is not very good, not to mention that he does all kinds of evil, but he also does things like burning, killing and looting. Therefore, almost everyone despises the area near the Zhonghe Alliance. However, Zhang Dehao has so many people, even if he is cast aside, so what can he do? He can't beat him. I didn't expect it to be them. Su Yi was a little speechless. However, at the next moment, a gleam shot out from his eyes. The Zhonghe Alliance is strong, and that is only the last life. This life has just started. Will they be Su Yi's opponents? Looking at the scale of this alliance, it is neither big nor small, but it is still delusional to want to capture Su Yi's tree demon territory with this alone. I'm afraid they can't get in. Su Yi said. Su did not get a response from Su Yi for a long time. Zhang Dehao was furious. He waved his spear and gave the order to attack. The low-level troops who had been on standby for a long time waved their weapons and rushed towards the territory of the tree demon. Seeing this scene, a trace of disdain flashed in Su Yi's eyes. What did he think of the tree demon's territory? And sent these cannon fodder over to ready to fight. Su Yi ordered Lei Ling on the city wall, and the big snow monsters are all ready to attack soon. The first batch of arms has entered the attack range. The attack of the thunder spirits and the big snow monsters has begun. Thunderbolts and snowballs kept falling from the sky, hitting the heads of these arms. There is only Tier 1, Tier 2 and 2 units. Although the level is not low, it still cannot resist the sharpness of thunder spirit and snow monster. Knocked down by a crushing blow in the distance, Zhang Dehao watched this scene and clenched his fists. I didn't expect the other party to have something. Pass my order, and everyone is ready to attack. Hearing the words, several doglegs quickly sent an order to the 3 armies at the same time. The troops of Fang Yun and Yu Hai were also specially arranged to the front to be cannon fodder. One must act like one. Regarding Zhang Dehao's decision, Fang Yun dared not speak out, so he arranged his formation and under Zhang Dehao's order. All attack. Tens of thousands of allied troops rush towards the territory of the tree demon. The momentum is huge, and at first glance, it can really scare people, but unfortunately, it is Suyi who is guarding the city at this moment. As early as when he discovered the allied forces, Suyi had already seen it. Although the number of this allied army is large, the quality of its arms is not good. The highest level unit is the furious giant bear of the 5th level, followed by the centaur of the 4th level and 4th level, and the crocodile, etc. There is nothing to be afraid of. Zhang Dehao rode a giant elephant and followed at the end of the team, holding a horn in his hand. Since you are obsessed with obsession, don't blame us for being rude. Chapter 118 Defense Beyond Imagination. The Allied Legion has a wide variety of arms and a large number at this moment. Thousands of horses are rushing forward. At first glance, it is indeed shocking. However, this did not scare Suyi in his last life. He had seen many more spectacular scenes than this one, so he wouldn't be frightened by the current situation. Besides, will the defenders of the giant territory be weak? No, with so many powerful defenders as their backing, Suyi is naturally confident that he will hold off the Hezhong Alliance. The fastest running unit had already entered the attack range of the large caliber cannon in the Dryads' territory. Following Suyi's order, the Dryads fired in unison, and the sound of rumbling artillery fire continued. A round of shells pierced the air and landed on the only way for the Alliance arms to attack. Boom boom boom. The shell exploded, the soil flew up, and even the monsters near the explosion area were smashed into pieces. Deep pits that make one's scalp tingle appear on the battlefield. The cannons fired wildly, causing countless casualties to the Allied forces in an instant. Zhang Dehao, who was following at the end, saw this scene, and his heart twitched violently. The defense of the tree demon's territory was a bit beyond his expectation. Why can't this be fought? Now that the Allied forces have set off, it is impossible to stop. Zhang Dehao couldn't hold back on his face either, so just keep going forward. After passing through the area covered by shells, the Allied troops entered the area where the heavy crossbow was launched. A crossbow arrow, accompanied by the sound of piercing through the air, poured down from the city wall, pierced the soldiers one by one and stabbed them on the ground. In addition to the crossbow bolts, the mage tower also began to shine brightly. Fireballs, ice crystals, and lightning strikes fell crazily. Will kill the units that passed through the artillery array by chance. For a time, there were fewer and fewer Allied troops approaching the Dryads' territory. This made Zhang Dehao a little confused. Did he get the wrong script? How could the defense of the Dryads' territory be so strong? Giant cannons, heavy crossbows, mage towers, lined up on the city wall, all of these are money. The Dryad. Is the territory so fat? Thinking about it, Zhang Dehao thought of something. The Dryad territory can build so many good things, which requires a lot of economy, and most of the source of income is the auction of tree demons. If I can take this territory, then these are all mine. Thinking of this in Zhang Dehao's heart, he became more determined to attack the tree demon's territory. Rush, rush for me. Zhang Dehao held up the spear in his hand and roared. The Alliance arms are ordered to rush forward as if fighting. However, this resulted in more deaths. Zhang Dehao originally thought that as long as he rushed through the cannon array, the heavy crossbow, and the mage tower, he would be safer. As everyone knows, behind these three pieces of city defense equipment, there are even more powerful things waiting for them. It's booming. The first Alliance unit touches the thunder pool trap. Immediately, he pulled a hair and moved his whole body. Other thunder pool traps were triggered one after another on the hundreds of meters long battlefield. A long area covered by lightning appeared. The thunder pool traps are connected together, and the sizzling arcs flicker non-stop. The first batch of Alliance arms that came into contact with the thunder pond trap were of low rank and instantly turned into coke, while those of high rank were also paralyzed and unable to move. Seeing this scene, Zhang Dehao, who was following behind, finally couldn't help but swear, "Fuck, what the hell is this ability?" The dogs beside him who supported him were also dumbfounded. Leader, the defense of this territory is stronger than we imagined. What should we do now? Leader, why don't we retreat? If we continue fighting like this, our losses will be too great. A few discerning people already wanted to retreat, and wanted Zhang Dehao to order the withdrawal of troops, but Zhang Dehao has already made a real fire that is, as the saying goes, retreat your mother's head in charge for me. It's just a small territory. Even if I use people to pile him up, I'll pile him up to death. Charge with all my strength. After we get close to the city wall, let the pangolins and sulfuric acid monsters break through the city wall, and we enter the city. This is Zhang Dehao's usual method. Tier 4 and 4 types of pangolins have sharp grips and are extremely hard. They can easily break through city walls and quickly consume the durability of city walls. They are the best choice for siege, and the sulfuric acid monster is even more domineering. Although the level is only the 3rd level, it can secrete strong sulfuric acid and spray it on the city wall to quickly corrode the city wall. It can easily corrode a big hole in the city wall. Chapter 78. In the previous battles, Zhang Dehao relied on these 2 arms and captured countless territories tried and tested. Today, the tree demon territory is the same. Zhang Dehao really does not believe that this tree demon territory can stop his alliance army. But in the end, will it really go as smoothly as Zhang Dehao thought? Although the gunfire in the tree demon territory is strong, it cannot completely cover the battlefield at this moment. Many escaped fish have passed through the artillery array, heavy crossbow, and the area covered by the mage tower, and successfully approached the city wall. But when they got here, Zhang Dehao and the others were dumbfounded. Again in the ditch in front of the city wall, hundreds of huge figures suddenly appeared. A 6th-order earth dragon with a length of more than 10 meters and a body covered in heavy armor. There are also 5th-order orcs with a height of more than 5 meters and dragging maces in their hands. Damn it, Zhang Dehao's expression changed drastically. What the hell is going on? Tier 6 and Tier 5 units are one of the few high-level units now. How can there be pangolins and sulfuric acid monsters who have approached the city wall before he can react? Has been severely attacked. The earth dragon breathed out, and hot flames spewed out from the earth dragon's mouth, crazy burning everything in front of him. Although it is not as powerful as a real giant dragon, it is by no means something that ordinary troops can bear within minutes. His whole body was burning with flames, and he let out a shrill scream. With the exception of the ground dragon subspecies, orc warriors are more straightforward. Swinging the mace in his hand, he rushed forward. A child with a stick. The brains of the alliance soldiers who hide him burst, and the brains splattered everywhere. The scene was very bloody at one time, which made the job transferees of the Zhonghe alliance look confused. Chapter 119. Defeat on the battlefield and block Zhang Dehao to death, asking for flowers, asking for votes, asking for all support. On the city wall of the tree demon territory, Suyi folded his arms and watched the battle in front of the city wall with a calm face. He already knew this would be the result, not to mention that there is only one Hezhong alliance, as far as the current stage is concerned. Even if 2 Hezhong alliances attack together, it is afraid that they will not be able to open the gate of the tree demon's territory. Besides, Suyi still has a trump card to use. The 6-headed dragon behind him was eager to attack, but was stopped by Suyi. In battles of this level, they will not be used for the time being. Suzier looked at the situation in the field, and the big stone hanging in her heart fell to the ground. Before, I was worried about the safety of the tree demon's territory. Looking at it now, it's completely unnecessary. What kind of Hezhong alliance? I'm afraid you can't even touch the city walls of the tree demon's territory. The fierce battle continued. A large number of soldiers of the United Alliance were killed, and the corpses piled up like a mountain, which looked horrifying. However, Zhang Dehao didn't intend to stop. He still commanded the troops to rush forward. He always believes that as long as he can get close to the city wall and break through the city wall, the battle can be ended. But is this okay? In the rear of the allied army, Feng Yun and the others gathered together. The expressions on their faces extremely exciting. Is this old Zhang Dehao crazy? He's still rushing forward after he's like this. Can't he just want to finish off the alliance army? Yu Hai couldn't help scolding. I am extremely speechless about Zhang Dehao's behavior at this moment. Training a unit requires resources and time. In the current situation, the casualties are too great. Even if it is possible to capture the territory of the tree demon, is it really worth it? Fang Yun sullenly, without saying a word, stared at the battle ahead. Just now, because of Zhang Dehao's special arrangement, almost all of his troops were killed in battle. Apart from heartache, I hate Zhang Dehao even more. This bastard is not born to be the leader of the alliance. He only knows about his interests, but he doesn't care about his subordinates. It's fine if you meet a paper opponent. If you kick an iron plate, you don't know how you died. For example, this time, the tree demon's territory is very strong, and it is undoubtedly an iron plate. Zhang Dehao, how many troops do you have? Feng Yun suddenly asked. Yu Hai and the others looked at each other and checked the information panel. I still have more than 50. I'm over 80. I have 43rd rank bulls. Feng Yun made a rough count, and there are a total of 500 or 600 arms. There are not many of them, but most of them are tall species. There are 3rd-tier bulls, 4th-tier 4 magicians, and 5th-tier poisonous pythons. Everyone, would you like to listen to me? Feng Yun continued as I swept over the several lords present. Lord Feng, just say what you want. We are listening, a lord said. Compared to Zhang Dehao, he is more willing to trust Feng Yun. At least this guy won't take advantage of his strength to bully the weak. Feng Yun coughed lightly, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Zhang Dehao usually bullies us a lot. This time, we have a chance to take revenge. As soon as the words fell, Yu Hai's eyes lit up. Lord Fang, how do you say that? Revenge. He spends 24 hours a day thinking about it for a full 20 hours. If there is a chance, he will definitely be the first to do it without hesitation. Several other lords also showed expressions of interest. As the saying goes, clay figurines still have 3 points and 3 fires. Not to mention that they are all living people usually being exploited by Zhang Dehao. I have long been upset it's just because of Zhang Dehao's powerful influence, so I can only hold it in my heart. Fang Yun didn't hesitate, and said bluntly, it's very simple, we will mobilize all our troops later, attack Zhang Dehao from behind, and block him here. The lords of Yuhai looked at each other. It may be difficult to block Zhang Dehao by defecting on the battlefield. Lord Fang, the number of allied troops led by Zhang Dehao is still 20,000. We only have 500 or 600 troops, how can we fight against him? That's right, Lord Fang, the risk of doing this is too great. If Zhang Dehao is not defeated, what awaits us will be the punishment of the Covenant. When it came to the punishment of the Covenant, everyone in the field shrank their necks. This is no joke. Fang Yun clenched his fists. He naturally understood what he said. Now, I understand what you said, so I said, we are betting that Zhang Dehao has become enchanted, and will definitely spare no effort to attack the Tree Demon territory. This will greatly weaken the vitality of the allied forces. We will attack from behind, that is to join hands with the Tree Demon territory in a disguised form, attack back and forth. Zhang Dehao will feel very uncomfortable. If he can be killed, then the covenant between us will naturally become invalid. After hearing the words, everyone looked at each other for a while. The plan is feasible, but the risk is not small. Yu Hai was straightforward and clapped his hands. Anyway, I can't stand this old thing anymore. This plan counts in me. Even if it is dead, I will drag this guy into the water. With Yu Hai's first statement, the other lords were also shaken and began to make statements one after another. Okay, fuck him. With Zhang Dehao's character, even if this battle is over, we will have no good results if we want to withdraw from the alliance. Everyone, don't forget the last time Lord Zhu withdrew from the alliance. That's right, instead of being so passive, it's better to stab Zhang Dehao in the back and kill him. The lords reached an agreement and expressed their willingness to follow Fang Yun's arrangement. Lord Fang, Brother Fang, just tell me what to do. In Hadeo, Fang Yun nodded, glanced at the battle situation in front of him, and said in a deep voice, it's not too late, let's gather our troops quietly. Remember, the movement should be quiet, and we must not be discovered. The lords expressed their understanding, dispersed one after another, and began to deploy troops in the alliance army. Call out the units that belong to your own territory, and then slowly move the position and gather together, waiting for the implementation of the next plan. In all this, Zhang Dehao did not know at this moment. He has been completely dazzled by the huge benefits of the Tree Demon's territory. I swore to get in after paying 1/3 of the casualties. The alliance army also successfully approached the front of the city wall. The real siege has begun. Chapter 120, Blazing Skin, Too Hard, Second Watch Subscription. Brother, they're here. Suzir pointed to the alliance army road below the city wall, which has already been in close combat with the subspecies of earth dragons and orc warriors. Suyi nodded. Don't worry, they can come in. With that said, Suyi took a few steps forward to observe the battle below up close. The violent giant bears, giant elephants, and various arms of the alliance army have approached, and behind these arms are thousands of job changers. These guys are armed with various weapons, including many mages and archers. Crazy throws magic and arrows in the direction of the giants' territory. The attacks are intensive, falling on the earth dragons and orcs, but only a small amount of life can be knocked out. Just kidding. The subspecies of earth dragons and orcs are famous for their rough skin and thick flesh. As for these job changers, what can they do with them? In the rear, Zhang Dehao looked at more and more alliance arms approaching the city wall, and his brows were brimming with joy. At the same time, he also saw Suyi and Suzir on the city wall. In such a large territory, there are only 2 job changers in it. HMPH, what's the use of it? Zhang Dehao said in disdain. He took the horn handed by the dog leg, and shouted at the territory of the Tree Demon. People on the city wall, listen up. I will give you one last chance to open the city gate and surrender. Otherwise, wait a minute, break through the city wall and kill without mercy. Suyi on the city wall. Suzir was a little speechless when she heard the words, why don't you open the city gate at every turn? Do you think this Tree Demon territory is your home? Open the city gate. If you have the guts, you can come in by yourself. Taking advantage of the time just now, Suyi also bought a loudspeaker in the market, took it out at this moment, and shouted at Zhang Dehao, Surrender is not in my dictionary. If you have the ability, just type it in. Provoked by Su Yi, Zhang Delhao was furious immediately. Arrogance, do you really think I am Zhang Delhao and are not? After finishing speaking, Zhang Delhao gave orders to the surrounding lords in a deep voice. Just as he was talking, suddenly a dogleg grabbed Zhang Delhao's sleeve, tremblingly said, "Leader, look over there." Zhang Delhao was furious, and was about to reprimand a few words, but he heard the sound of flapping wings coming from the direction of the city wall. Chapter 79. Look over there, damn. I can only see 6 huge figures flying out of the tree demon's territory. That's a giant dragon. It still has 6 heads. Zhang Delhao still vividly remembers the scene of burning fire, Alliance army before now. Such a terrifying giant dragon actually has 6 heads in total. Before he could react, the 6-headed dragons in front had already crossed the city wall under Su Yi's order, and headed straight for the job changers. Su Yi rode on blazing back, facing the fearless domain. Very mighty job changers are human beings after all, so they have been hiding behind the arms and sniping coldly. At this moment, the giant dragon attacked, and the target was them. The blazing bears the brunt, and a mouthful of dragon's breath spews out. The scorching flames swept across and instantly emptied the blood tank of the job changer. The screams and the scorching flames resounded one after another on the battlefield, resounding non-stop. Fuck, run away, concentrate the fire, everyone gather the fire, and shoot them down. Set fire, balls, they are giant dragons. There was a sudden chaos in the arena. Job changer after all, they are not as good as soldiers. When the troops receive the order, they will rush forward without fear of death. As for job changers, they are real human beings, who fear death and avoid danger at the critical moment of life threatening. Can they still be as calm as before? No. In an instant, the job changers began to fleeing around. The scene was very chaotic. Zhang De in the rear was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. The old man's face darkened. Stop all of them, set fire to attack, whoever dares to escape, I'll kill whoever. But no matter how Zhang Delhao yelled, his voice never reached the ears of those job changers. Helpless, Zhang Delhao had no choice but to drive the lords around him to launch an attack. Xiao Dan, Wu Jinkan, attack quickly. The 2 lords who were named looked at each other, their faces turned pale. But they still followed Zhang Delhao's request and took off the longbow that was straddling behind them. Aim at the blazing fire with 2 sounds. 2 arrows pierced the air and landed on the fiery chest. The arrow that could be extremely sharp landed on Qilai's body, but it only made 2 crisp sounds, and then fell straight down. Not even a white mark was left. As for the damage, there is only a little mandatory damage. Seeing this scene, the 2 were dumbfounded. Leader, let's withdraw. This damn thing is too hard. Zhang Delhao was extremely angry. Fart. Isn't it just a bigger body? How strong can it be? As he spoke, Zhang Delhao clenched his knight's spear and threw it at Blazing. Under the action of powerful force, the knight's spear successfully hit Blazing, only did a measly 2 points of damage. What's more terrible is that the behavior of Zhang Delhao and others has been regarded as a provocation. The huge dragon head looked towards this side, and the big eyes flashed a trace of anger the moment Zhang Delhao looked at Qilai. Zhang Delhao's heart trembled. A very bad premonition appeared in his heart. Attack! Burn them! Su Yi gave the order softly, without any intention of holding back. With a blazing whimper, he struck out swiftly. Huge wings cover the sky and cover the sun. Sweeping towards Zhang Delhao's direction. Zhang Delhao finally got scared when he saw the blazing coming true. He patted the sitting giant elephant, turned around and ran wildly. Seeing Zhang Delhao turn around, the surrounding lords were speechless and at the same time greeted the 18 generations of his ancestors. Why can't you say something about retreating? This behavior of selling teammates is really disgusting. Zhang Delhao started to flee, and the other job changers, the lord, naturally didn't stay much. They turned around and ran away. At this time, life saving is the most important thing. Who dares to covet the tree demon's territory? In an instant, the Hezhong alliance was defeated. The dragons began to chase after the victory. This scene also fell into the eyes of Fang Yun and others at the end of the battlefield. Everyone get ready, the opportunity is here. Fang Yun ordered in a deep voice. All the lords nodded, and got in touch with their own arms one after another, preparing to fight. Chapter 121. Old Dog Zhang, suffering death. Zhang Delhao rushed across the road, as fast as he came just now. He is running as fast as he is now. The dragon is too terrifying. He doesn't want to be chased, and then be burned into coke by a breath of dragon. Fuck, I miscalculated this time. Zhang Delhao was angry in his heart. Although the giant elephant was bulky, its speed was not slow, and it rushed out of the alliance army with Zhang Delhao in a short time. Of course, there are other job changers with him. The leader of the alliance has all fled, and this battle was a fart. While running wildly, While looking back, Suyu was chasing after him on a blazing fierce horse. This made Zhang Dehao feel a little terrified. The speed of the giant dragon is too fast. If he keeps following him, he may be caught up in a short time. Thinking of the consequences of being overtaken, Zhang Dehao shuddered all over. He didn't dare to think about it. Speed me up. Zhang Dehao gritted his teeth and ordered. He even took out his dagger and stabbed it fiercely at the back of the sitting giant elephant. The giant elephant uttered a cry of pain and sped up a lot. While running, Zhang Dehao suddenly saw a group of people appearing in front of him, a small team to be exact. There are about 500 or 600 troops, and the ranks are not low, and they are blocking his only way. And right in front of this team stood Feng Yun, Yu Hai and others. Seeing them, Zhang De cursed generously. Damn, these bastards, why didn't I see them just now? I didn't expect to hide here. Just as he was about to get angry, Zhang Dehao frowned when he heard the screams getting closer and closer behind him, and thought about it. The dragon catches up with him. To put it bluntly, it will be a matter of time if you just run like this. It is as difficult as going to the sky to escape. However, if there is a cannon fodder at this time to resist for a little time, maybe I still have the chance to leave here. As for this cannon fodder, hey, Feng Yun and the others are just right. These bastards just started the battle and hid, and now they just cover themselves. Thinking of this, Zhang Dehao sped up and ran over. Before the person arrived, a voice came over. Lord Feng, hurry up, attack the giant dragon and stop it. Feng Yun was unmoved when he heard the words. The same is true for Yu Hai and the others beside him, but when they see the blaze, their hearts beat a little. After all, they are also members of the United Alliance, so this giant dragon will not be solved together with them. Before they could think about it, Zhang Dehao shouted again, Feng Yun, this is an order. Do you want to disobey the order of the leader, bastards? I order you immediately attack, immediately. Immediately. Feng Yun remained motionless, just quietly waiting for how to approach. The distance between Qilai and Zhang Dehao is getting smaller and smaller. Suyi, who was on Blazing's back, was also paying attention to the affairs on this side. When I saw Feng Yun and others at this moment, I was a little puzzled. Which is the fastest way to play? The answer will be revealed in front of Suyi. Zhang Dehao ran up to Feng Yun with his remnants and stopped, glaring at the latter. Feng Yun, what are you going to do? Didn't you hear my order? Feng Yun glanced at Zhang Dehao and the others. Most of them were job changers, not many in number, and they were not his opponents. Wait. Feng Yun opened his mouth, and Yu Hai beside him was the first to speak out. Old dog Zhang, you still dare to order us now? Are you courting death? Being called an old dog by Yu Hai, Zhang Dehao was immediately furious, and he didn't care about the burning that had already flown above his head, and roared, Bastard, you dare to call me that if you don't want to do it? Yu Hai sneered, to tell you the truth, old dog Zhang, I have long been irrelevant. You are worthy of being the leader of the alliance. Go to hell. Today is your day of death. The dogs around Zhang Dehao looked at each other in blank dismay. Things have calmed to this point. They still don't understand this. Feng Yun has turned his back. Feng Yun, tell me, is this frankly your idea? Zhang Dehao asked angrily. He knew that Yu Hai and Feng Yun had a very close relationship, and most of the time, he was willing to listen to Feng Yun. Feng Yun nodded upon hearing this. That's right, this is my attention, Leader Zhang, we've had enough of you. Zhang Dehao's old face was dark, and he felt the energy and blood in his body surge up. He pointed at Feng Yun and roared, don't forget the rules of the Zhonghe Alliance. If you attack me, do you know the consequences? Feng Yun shrugged, the consequence is that as long as you, the leader of the alliance, die, the rules will be broken by themselves. After finishing speaking, Feng Yun waved his hand. Hundreds of higher-ranking troops behind him moved together, attacking Zhang Dehao without saying a word. Zhang Dehao had no choice but to fight passively, but currently, how can he still be the opponent of Feng Yun and others? Let alone the disparity in quantity. Let's talk about the quality of the combat power on Zhang Dehao's side. Most of the combat power is job changers and lords. They are not weak, but definitely not strong. Chapter 80. On the other hand, Feng Yun's side is full of high-level troops. There are quite a few units of Tier 4 and Tier 5, and the number is more than 3 times that of Zhang Dehao. 3 times the number of crushes. Isn't it enough to win this battle? The two sides fought hand in hand and began to fight. Zhang Dehao even lost his weapon, and now he can only ride a giant elephant on a rampage at the same time. I greeted the 18 generations of Feng Yun's ancestors 100 times in my heart. The last one is Suyi, who is leisurely sitting on Qilai's back, eating melons and watching a play. This is good. He doesn't even have to make a move, cannibalism or something. It's best to watch, isn't it? Looking at the battle below, Suyi's gaze has been focused on Fang Yun. This guy's name is Fang Yun. Fang Yun. Fang Yun. Why does Fang Yun always feel that this name is very familiar? After thinking for a long time, Suyi was stunned. He thought in the previous life, Fang Yun, who is as famous as Li Zun, was defeated in the hands of a lord named Fang Yun in the last life of the Hezhong Alliance. Now it looks like it should be the one below. The reason why Suyi pays so much attention to Fang Yun is naturally not because this guy destroyed the Hezhong Alliance, but because of this guy's character, honesty and integrity. It's famous. The most important thing is that in the middle of the Lord era, before Fang Yun destroyed the Zhonghe Alliance, it seemed that there was another adventure. Chapter 122, Kill Zhang Dehao, dispose of Fang Yun. Because of this adventure, Fang Yun got a lot of good things: high-level arms, massive resources, precious props and so on. It can be said that Fang Yun can destroy the Zhonghe Alliance, which has a large number of people and powerful forces, and most of the credit is that fortuitous encounter. I didn't expect to meet Fang Yun here in this life, and because of his own relationship, the Zhonghe Alliance was also destroyed in advance. It has to be said that the butterfly effect is so powerful in this life. Suyi sold the tree demon units ahead of time, which attracted Zhang Dehao's attention, and then the Zhonghe Alliance marched into Zhongzhou, which invisibly aroused the grievances between Zhang Dehao and Fang Yun. Attacking the flagship of the Giant Territory, the Zhonghe Alliance fought hard, and Fang Yun found the right opportunity to defect. All this has been accelerated. Everything's changed. It's fun. The corners of Suyi's lips curled up after confirming Fang Yun's identity. Suyi didn't make a move, but just watched the battle to himself. Sure enough, Fang Yun did not disappoint Suyi. After 5 minutes of fighting against the remnants of Zhang Dehao, Fang Yun had the absolute upper hand. Zhang Dehao was killed and only a few cronies remained. Several people were surrounded by Fang Yun's arms. The giant elephant that Zhang Dehao was sitting on had been killed. At this moment, he was standing on the ground, scanning the surrounding soldiers, swallowing a mouthful of saliva. Fang Yun, don't kill me, take me back, and I'll promote you to be the deputy leader. Zhang Dehao prayed. To be honest, he never dreamed that he would fall into Fang Yun's hands. Fang Yun heard the words, but before he could open his mouth, Yu Hai beside him had already said, "Brother Fang, don't talk nonsense with him, kill him, it's over once and for all." Fang Yun nodded, raised his right hand, and prepared to order an attack. Zhang Dehao was terrified, and then shouted, Don't, I'll give you the position of leader and the entire Hezhong Alliance. I just beg you not to kill me, is that okay? Fang Yun was unmoved. Thank you for your kindness, I don't need it. After saying that, Fang Yun's right hand dropped suddenly. The surrounding lords who were already eager to try swarmed up. Stab the weapon in your hand towards Zhang Dehao and others, especially Yu Hai. This guy seemed extremely crazy, as if he had been stimulated by something. Zhang Dehao's eyes were about to burst, and he cursed loudly, but after a few seconds, his voice stopped abruptly. He was hacked to death in the crowd. Even his subordinates were all killed. As the leader of the alliance, Zhang Dehao hiccuped, and all the members of the Zhonghe Alliance received a message. The general meaning is that if the alliance advocates virtue and hiccups, the alliance will automatically dissolve. The alliance contract was dissolved, and the negative status of Fang Yun and others disappeared automatically. Cough cough. Let me mention here, what is a negative state actually? In the Age of Lords, in order to avoid killing each other in the alliance, or the lower level territory attacking the upper level territory, this kind of thing happens. Therefore, generally speaking, among the rules established by the alliance, there will be such a rule in the two territories of the same alliance: the first striker, all combat units, including the lord, and the transferees in the territory, the whole body attribute will be weakened by 30%. That's right, weakening 3%. That's how overbearing. Therefore, when Fang Yun ordered to attack Zhang Dehao just now, his arms had already triggered this rule. It's a pity that all attributes have dropped by 30%. The number of Fang Yun's side is much higher than that of Zhang Dehao. Even if the sex drops by 30%, so what? It's still an easy win. Seeing Zhang Dehao being killed, Yu Hai and others cheered happily. Just as they were happy, there was a burst of clear applause from above everyone's heads. Pa's faces froze, and they looked up quickly. When they saw the blazing fire floating above their heads, their hearts were shocked. Well, just now I was too busy looking for trouble with Zhang Dehao, but I forgot that there was a giant dragon on my head. The current applause was naturally from Suyi. He ordered blazing to lower its altitude and fall from the sky. Then he stood on Qilai's head, looking down at Fang Yun and the others. The troops around Fang Yun and the others, after feeling the threat of the giant dragon, lowered their heads one after another, waiting for those with lower ranks, and even prostrated themselves on the ground. Trembling, Fang Yun's heart beat a little. He walked to the front of the crowd, and looked at Suyi. Before he could speak, Suyi had already said, You are Fang Yun. Fang Yun was a little confused when he heard this, but still nodded of course. He was not surprised that Su Yi knew his name. After all, Zhang Dehao called himself many times before he died, and Su Yi was nearby, so he must have heard it. I don't know what your name is, Fang Yun asked. He has a good ability to perceive words and emotions. From Su Yi's eyes, he did not see any murderous intent. This means that this young man who is younger than himself is not ready to attack him in this way. I naturally have to treat each other well and strive to leave alive otherwise. Once Su Yi made a move, his 500 or 600 troops might not be his opponents. Besides, there is an entire tree demon territory behind Su Yi and Fang Yun. The only thing left is these types of arms, which are useless. Facing Fang Yun's greeting, Su Yi did not put on airs, and said lightly, "You can call me Su Yi." Fang Yun and the others looked at each other. They had never heard of the name Su Yi. Fang Yun nodded. The two sides knew each other, and then cupped his hands at Su Yi. "Lord Su, this time we attacked your territory. It was a helpless act. The place that caused the loss was offended, and Lord Su, please forgive us." Su Yi waved his hand. "Don't worry, I won't pursue your problems, but I'm just curious, what is the reason why you killed him? The cause and effect, let me hear." Saying that, Su Yi pointed to Zhang Dehao, who was already lying dead. Fang Yun and the others looked at each other, but did not refuse, and began to talk. He told Zhang Dehao, the Zhonghe alliance, and the plan to attack the tree demon's territory in detail. There's no way. Su Yi's strength is on display here, and they can't tolerate lying. After listening to the description of Fang Yun and the others, Su Yi understood the cause and effect of this incident when he coughed lightly. "If you say that, this person deserves to die. As for you," with that said, Su Yi looked at Fang Yun and the others. Now that his face turned pale. Shit, didn't he just say that he would not cause trouble for himself? Why let the author just let it go? And let's talk about how to deal with Fang Yun and others in the next chapter. He Chapter 123 Sky Alliance. Su Yi is the leader. In an instant, several people looked at Su Yi, afraid that someone would jump out of his mouth and kill without mercy. Then it's over. Zhang Dehao is dead, and the United Alliance is about to be disbanded. I want you to return to preside over the overall situation and integrate the remaining forces of the United Alliance. Su Yi said. Yuhai and others, including Fang Yun, breathed a sigh of relief. It's fine as long as it doesn't kill you. Being alive means having a chance. But before they could relax completely, Su Yi's next words sounded the alarm for them. "Also, I'm going to create an alliance. You all join in." As soon as these words came out, Fang Yun and the others looked at each other in blank dismay. What the hell? Just out of the wolf's den and into the tiger's den. It took untold hardships to beat the previous leader, Zhang Dehao, to death, but now he meets Su Yi again. This is so Lord Su. This Fang Yun is a little hesitant. He still thought about doing it alone after regaining his freedom, but Su Yi snorted coldly and glanced at Fang Yun. "Why do you have a problem?" Fang Yun's heart trembled. How dare he have a problem with the question? Su Yi's strength is stronger than Zhang Dehao's, and now Fang Yun only has these hundreds of troops, so why fight with Su Yi next, even if Zhang Dehao has thousands of troops? However, Zhang Dehao's tens of thousands of allied troops were defeated by Su Yi. How could he, Fang Yun and Hida, be right? He could defeat Su Yi. So, the current situation is that it's fine if Su Yi doesn't speak. Once he speaks, Fang Yun will have to agree unless he chooses to die. Fortunately, the only thing that comforted Fang Yun was that Su Yi looked much more kind than Zhang Dehao, and he has more brains than Zhang Dehao. It should be better than Zhang Dehao to recognize him as the leader of the alliance. It's just that, the feeling of being dependent on others is nothing more than that. After all, I am also a member of the United Alliance. Logically speaking, Su Yi has 100% reasons to kill herself. Chapter 81. But he spared his own life, which is a blessing in misfortune. In this way, what else can Fang Yun ask for? Seeing Su Yi's cold gaze, Fang Yun nodded. That's fine, I've met the leader. When Su Yi heard this, the corners of his lips curled slightly, and he snapped his fingers. That's fine, come with me. As he spoke, regardless of whether Fang Yun agreed or not, he swung his blazing claws, grabbed Fang Yun, spread his wings and flew towards the tree demon's territory. Yuhai and other lords watched Fang Yun leave and swallowed, eyes full of uncertainty. It's good now, I just got out of the wolf's den. Forget it, it would be nice to kill Zhang Dehao and save his life. That's right. I think this Lord Su is much better than Zhang Dehao, and he is powerful. With him as the leader, we have thick thighs. This is a good thing. Several lords were discussing one after another, and they had all kinds of ideas on the other side. The battle between the Dryad territory and the Hezhong alliance has ended after Zhang Dehao retreated. The Hezhong alliance was defeated like a mountain, and all the troops were swallowed up by the tree demon territory. Suzy stood on the city wall and watched Suya come back riding blazing with her own eyes and on the blazing claws. It seems to be holding a person. Suddenly a little confused. Do not understand. So what the hell is Knight trying to do? Soon, blazing arrived over the tree demon's territory, falling from the sky. Fang Yun was randomly thrown on the grass in the tree demon's territory. As soon as he got up from the ground, Fang Yun saw 6 huge dragon heads staring at him. Immediately terrified, he took 2 steps back involuntarily, but bumped into something. Looking back, it was a huge tree demon over 3 meters tall. Cough cough. It is the Golden Tree Demon King. Seeing this scene, Fang Yun's expression became extremely exciting. What kind of place is this dry territory? Who the hell is Su Yi? Brother, who is he? Just as he was thinking, a female voice sounded behind Fang Yun. Su Kainer had already run down from the city wall, pointing at Fang Yun. Suya jumped off. She lies back and coughed lightly. His name is Fang Yun. He is my prisoner. The prisoner. Fang Yun was speechless for a while. Hey, didn't he say he was a good ally? Why did he say he was a prisoner again? Su Kainer looked Fang Yun up and down curiously. Her eyes were extremely exciting. Suya simply took Fang Yun and walked in the direction of the Lord's Hall. Fang Yun followed behind, looking at the various buildings in the tree demon's territory while walking. When he saw a large area of Lingshan, he was dumbfounded. There are so many spiritual fields. How much food should be produced every day? And those dryads who are busy in the spiritual fields, there are hundreds of them at least. The territory of the dryads is fat and oily. Unknowingly, the 3 of them walked to the Lord's Hall in the tree demon territory. Fang Yun is still in a dazed state. Hey, it's time to get down to business, Suya shouted, which woke Fang Yun up. Fang Yun came back to his senses and looked at Suya. I'm sorry, Lord, this is the first time I've seen a territory with such complete facilities. So Suya waved his hand. Don't put a high head on me. This is not my territory. This is my sister's territory. Fang Yun looked at Suzy. A trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. Generally speaking, due to the strong relationship between men and women, there are very few female lords in the Lord era. I never thought that this huge tree demon territory was actually led by a female lord. Suya's hands were fast, and he made a list of alliances. There are many rules covered above. For example, alliances are not allowed to kill each other, and when encountering enemies, they must be consistent with each other. Fang Yun glanced nervously, but found no mandatory regulations. He was relieved. It seems that Suya is indeed much better than Zhang Delhao. If there is no problem, sign it. The contract will take effect immediately, Suya urged. Fang Yun nodded, picked up a pen and signed his name in the column of allies. The name is just signed. The contract, split in 2, and immediately take effect among them. The name of the alliances, Sky Vault. Suya is the leader of the alliance. The Star Domain is the leader's territory, and Fang Yun's Cloud territory is an ally. As for the territory of the Tree Demon, Suya is not ready to add it yet. Ask for flowers, ask for votes, ask for everything. Chapter 124, A Chance to Get Rich. Second watch subscription. Then, Suya promoted Fang Yun to the deputy leader and gave him the authority to recruit allies. This alliance only accepts people you can see, those who are insidious and cunning, who don't obey orders. Don't pull them in, Suya exhorted. Fang Yun nodded, expressing his understanding. Then, Suya asked some other questions, and let Fang Yun leave in this battle. Except for the high-level units of Fang Yun and others, the allied forces of the Zhonghe alliance were almost wiped out. This clearly proved the strength of the Tree Demon's territory in front of Fang Yun. Under the deterrence of such strength, Fang Yun did not dare to make any other changes. Of course, his personality is also relatively positive. Zhang Delhao was able to be killed, and Suya has a lot of credit for this when dealing with benefactors. Fang Yun will not do anything after sending Fang Yun away. Su Kainer looked at Suya suspiciously. Brother, why did you drag him into the alliance? The corners of Suya's lips curled slightly. For what? Of course, for many things. First of all, Fang Yun's adventure. He wants to take a share. Secondly, the Cloud territory where Fang Yun is located is in Tangxi City, more than 1,600 kilometers away from the Tree Demon territory. It's not easy over there. There are many opportunities, and even in the middle of the Lord's era, many high-level units and treasure chests were refreshed there. Suya's behavior now is undoubtedly paving the way for his future. When the time is right, Suya will take people to Tangxi, so he won't know anything. Moreover, with his guidance, Fang Yun's development will definitely be much faster than in the previous life. Maybe he won't be able to occupy the entire Tangxi in the near future. And Suya is the leader of the alliance. There are always many benefits. Facing Su Kainer's question, Suya did not answer directly, but he smiled. You will understand later. Now, take someone to clean up the battlefield, and put away all the equipment left by the Alliance army. Su Zhe curled her lips, as if she was dissatisfied with Su Yi for keeping it from herself, but Su Zhe was very interested in hearing about the equipment collection. In fact, it is also possible to trade equipment in the market. Hang up the equipment you don't need, and you can sell part of the currency. This time, the Alliance army has at least 5,000 job changers. On average, one job changer contributes one piece of equipment. That is a full 5,000 pieces of equipment. A wave of sudden wealth is just around the corner. How could Su Zhe not be tempted? She immediately put aside her dislike just now, greeted the Golden Tree Demon King, led more than 200 tree demons out of the city gate, and began to clean the battlefield. We have experienced 2 battles in one day today. The Golden Crow has already slanted to the west at this moment, and it will be dark in an hour or so. Su Zhe must hurry up on the other side. Fang Yun left the Tree Demon's territory and returned to Yu Hei's position. When they saw Fang Yun coming back, several people gathered together. Brother Fang, how are you doing? Yu Hai asked. Fang Yun's expression is flat, no joy or sorrow can be seen. I have joined the Sky Alliance. The Lords of the Sky Alliance looked at each other. Is this Su Yi's alliance? How many lords are there in this alliance? Asked a lord. Fang Yun coughed lightly. Including me, there are only 2. The lords looked at each other again, bewildered. The 2 tree demon territories are so powerful. Shouldn't they have gathered a lot of alliance resources? Why are there only 2? Could it be that they were just created? Find a place to rest. Tomorrow, we will return to Tangxi. This is the order Su Yi gave to Fang Yun, and he dare not disobey it. And the other lords here listen to Fang Yun, so naturally they are listening to Su Yi's orders. In a disguised form, the group packed up and left the battlefield. There are too many corpses in this place, and there are many corpses of people. If you want to camp, you can't be here. In fact, Fang Yun ordered to camp in the wild, which made several lords a little dissatisfied. Now they can be regarded as Su Yi's allies, so why can't they be allowed to rest in the Tree Demon's territory for a night? The answer is no. Su Yi would not do this. He was willing to form an alliance because he liked Fang Yun, but it doesn't mean that he has taken a fancy to Fang Yun's subordinates, as well as several other lords. It's impossible to spend the night in the Giant's territory. The buildings and facilities of a territory are confidential, so how can they let others know at will? Therefore, Fang Yun and others had no choice but to take people to camp in the wild. I just hope that I don't encounter too many monsters to harass me at night. Otherwise, with their current strength, I am afraid that they will not live in peace. On a hilltop thousands of meters away from the Giant's territory, everyone from Xianshan territory gathered here. They had witnessed a whole battle before. When they saw the Giant territory destroying the Hezhong alliance, it shocked the hearts of each of them. This is too strong. Especially Li Fu. He is an ambitious person, and has always been a little dissatisfied with Su Yi's occupation of the Tree Demon's territory. After this battle, his dissatisfaction completely disappeared, not because of his conscience, but because he has no right to be dissatisfied. What's the point of being dissatisfied with such a strong enemy? Can you beat them? If you can't, then you have to fight hard. As for Li Zun, what he thought of was something else. He has a long-term vision, and knows the preciousness of the Tree Demon's territory. Since I can't get it myself, it is very necessary to have a good relationship with Su Yela this time, although I didn't make much contribution. Su Yi should know about it. This is a good start. Su Yi, I just hope that one day in the future, when I am in trouble, you won't sit idly by. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82. Bar. Li Zan thought secretly. With a wave of his hand, he ordered to return to the city. The members of Xianshan territory, who had watched the battle all afternoon, turned around and walked towards Xianshan territory. Chapter 125. The Egg of the Griffin King. It's late at night. The gates of the Giant's territory were wide open, and all the troops that had gone out returned to the territory. Cleaning the battlefield before can be said to be very fruitful, at least in terms of equipment. The quantity is very complete. There are warrior equipment, knight equipment, mage equipment, archer equipment, and so on. The only thing that makes Su Kainer feel a little pity is that the destructive power of a few giant dragons is too strong, especially blazing. One breath of dragon's breath, even your equipment will be burned out. Therefore, more than half of the remaining equipment of the allied forces of the United Alliance are damaged to varying degrees. With damage, it's not much use in terms of natural value. Hearing Su Kainer express her dissatisfaction, Su Yi was quite calm, pointing to the damaged equipment piled up in front of him and said, "Don't worry, make the best use of everything, as long as you bring these equipments to Vulcan. Believe me, he'll figure it out." When Sukainer heard this, her eyes lit up. "That's right, who is Vulcan? He is a dwarf famous for his forging skills. He can forge equipment directly. Isn't it possible to repair the equipment? When the time comes to repair these equipment, wouldn't it be another big fortune?" Here, the dissatisfaction in Sukainer's heart was swept away. Hee, that's great. This way we can gain more. Oops, I've been fighting all day. I'm so hungry. Brother, wait, I'll cook. Saying that, the little girl bounced and ran towards the Lord's Hall. After all, Suyi and Suzir are human beings, omnivores. Although the spirit fruit tastes good and can increase your own experience, but eating this every day will inevitably make you tired. So, a few days ago, Suzir built a kitchen near the Lord's Hall, and cooked for Suyi every day because she has always depended on Suyi for life. The little girl is good at cooking, coupled with all kinds of precious and fresh ingredients that the Golden Tree Demon King finds every day. It is not too difficult to make a delicious meal. Watching the little girl leave, Suyi shook his head lightly, then walked towards Lingshan. By the light of the fire in the city in the initial siege battle, a Griffin King was killed fiercely. It was a coincidence that this guy's body fell on the spiritual field. Now is the time to get this thing sorted out. When Suyi arrived at the place, the Golden Tree Demon King had already gathered more than 100 tree demons here. It seems that it also wants to move the corpse of the Griffin King out. This stems from a characteristic of dryads. Dryads are transformed from plants after they become spirits, so they are very loving and careful about other things. The Griffin King fell from the sky with a bang and destroyed such a large spiritual field. The tree demons felt extremely distressed. "So my lord, can you take it now?" Seeing Suyi approaching, the Golden Tree Demon King asked. Suyi nodded. "Yes, can you do it?" The Golden Dryad King pondered for a moment. Yes. After saying that, the guy walked to the clearing, and the tentacles that made up his legs plunged into the ground. The body grew rapidly and turned into a big tree in the blink of an eye. There are 4 or 5 people, and the hug is so thick. After turning into a big tree, the Golden Tree Demon King waved his hundreds of tentacles. The corpse of the Eagle King was seized with all his strength. Kiki carried the guy's body out of the spiritual field, finally put it in the open space on the other side. Suyi stepped forward to check. After all, he is the Griffin King. Even in death, he is still so domineering. The feathers on his body are extremely hard, like pieces of blades. Protect your body tightly. Can you handle it? Suyi looked at the smaller Golden Tree Demon King. The latter nodded. Upon hearing this, "I can turn it into fertilizer." Suyi snapped his fingers. "Okay. Let's turn it into fertilizer. Be quiet, and try not to emit bloody smell." The tree demon's territory is now Suyi's home, and the smell of blood is always bad. The Golden Dryad King expressed his understanding, and began to order the Dryads to dispose of the body of the Griffin King. Use the magic of the Dryad to devour the corpse of the Griffin King. Suyi was not in the mood to watch these here, and returned to the Lord's Hall first. Here, Suzir has prepared the food. It's chicken stew with mushrooms. To be clear, it should be pheasant stewed mushrooms. Pheasants come from hunting, and mushrooms are bred by dryads. The two are stewed together, and the taste is extremely delicious. "Brother, let's eat." Sukainer greeted Suyi to sit down. She personally served a bowl of soup for the latter. Suyi was also polite, took it and started eating. While eating, suddenly footsteps came from outside the Lord's Hall. Suyi turned his head and saw that the Golden Tree Demon King was running towards this side. "What's the matter? It's in a hurry?" Suyi asked. The Golden Tree Demon King stopped in his tracks. Dozens of tentacles stretched out behind him, and they were wrapping something up. "My lord, we found this." Suyi frowned, put down the bowl and chopsticks, walked to the Golden Tree Demon King, and looked at the object he handed over. It's round and golden yellow. "What an egg. Wow, what is this?" "It's a big egg. It's an extra meal tomorrow," Suzir whispered. Suyi was speechless, and gave her a brain break. Additional fart. "This is the egg of the Griffin King." As he said that, he threw a detection skill at the egg in the hands of the Golden Tree Demon King. The information about this egg quickly appeared in Suyi's mind. Griffin King egg level, Tier 6 description, feed with enough energy to hatch a griffin with the blood of a king. It is very precious, please keep it safe. Seeing the information description, Suyi's heart moved. A griffin with the blood of a king, isn't that the Griffin King? Good stuff. Suyi praised. Suzir curled her lips. Isn't it just an egg? Suyi didn't bother to explain, and directly shared the information with Sukainer. The little girl just took one look and fell in love instantly. "Brother, I don't care, I want this egg." Chapter 126, Suzir carries the big banner alone. Please subscribe for more updates. Then can you hatch it? Suyi glanced at Suzir. The latter's face was stagnant, and he pouted. Then what should I do? Suyi shrugged. Turn to look at the Golden Tree Demon King. You should be able to find a way. Right. The Golden Tree Demon King was a little speechless, hesitatingly said, Lord, I can only take care of plants. This before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Su Yi. I said you can do whatever you want. This egg is handed over to you. Go to the medicine garden to find some good ingredients. Feed it from time to time. It should hatch out in a short time gone. Seeing Su Yi's firm attitude, the Golden Tree Demon King had no choice but to take the egg. Leaving the Lord's Hall, Su Zir seemed to be a little worried, and watched the Golden Tree Demon King leave. Brother, can it really work? Su Yi picked up the bowl and chopsticks again, took a sip of the chicken soup. Besides this, do you have a better way? Susie rolled her eyes. Well, not really. You can't take this egg by yourself. Put it under the quilt and cover it. Let's not talk about whether it can hatch like this. What if you are dishonest when you sleep at night, and you turn over and crush the egg? Have a meal the next day. Accompanied by Su Yi, Su Kainer conducted an inspection on the tree demon's territory. The so-called overhaul is to complete the buildings, arms and so on in the territory of the tree demon. This is very necessary. The war will come at any time, and before the war comes, 100% preparation is the criterion that a lord should have. After half a day, Su Zir had finished repairing the entire tree demon territory, followed by a training past the subspecies of Earth Dragon, Big Yeti, Dryad, Thunder Spirit, and Beastman. All need training. Among them, the layers of the subspecies Earth Dragon, Big Snow Monster, Thunder Spirit, and Beastman are all level 3. The number of trainable arms is 200. If they are all trained, that is 600 troops. The building level of the Dryad camp is level 5, and the number of trainable units is 100. It is also a daunting task. Finally, there are resources in the Dryad's territory. After eliminating the 5th level monsters in the siege battle and a Hezhong alliance, the tree demon territory has harvested a considerable amount of resources now. The resources of the Dryad territory are as follows. Territory of the Dryad, Lord, Su Zir level 5 alliance, star domain subordinate territory, no building. 20 arms, Dryad, subspecies Earth Dragon, Orc Warrior, Big Snow Monster, Leyling population. 10 timber. 790,000 stone. 760,000 iron ore. 740,000 gold coin. 210,000 food. 660,000 currency. 360,000 upgrade required. Wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coin are 1 million each sufficient. Not to mention that Su Zir still has 360,000 coins. If these are all converted into basic resources, it is enough to double the basic resources of the tree demon territory now. What Su Zir needs most is time. Although she has a soldier master necklace, that thing only reduces the training time by 30%, which is not much. It still takes a lot of time to train a unit to increase the number of arms. It takes a lot of time. As a foreshadowing, the two brothers and sisters were walking on the tree-lined path in the territory of the Dryad. Chapter 83. Su Kainer tilted her head and looked at Su Yi. Brother, what are you going to do next? Su Yi pondered a little. In a few days, I plan to go back to the star field. Hearing this, Su Zir's expression changed. What about me? Can I go back? During this period of time, Su Zir has been staying with Su Yi all the time, so she is not lonely. But once Su Yi leaves too, then Su Kainer is here completely alone. It is inevitable that you will feel lonely and afraid. Su Yi coughed lightly. You stay. The tree demon territory needs you to preside over the overall situation. But Su Kainer was about to say something, but was interrupted by Su Yi. Remember, you are a real lord. As a lord, you must put the safety of the territory first. Don't worry, before I leave, I will help you arrange everything here, and ensure that no one can beat you. Come in, Su Yi said in a low voice. Why doesn't he want to bring Su Zir with him? It's the safest way, but it can be carried for a while, but not for a lifetime. Suzy always has to grow, otherwise, what if Su Yi is gone after a while? Did Su Kainer listen to Su Yi's explanation, and Su Kainer nodded to show that she understood. Okay then, but brother, you have to come back as soon as possible. Su Yi nodded. He went back this time mainly because he wanted to develop the star domain. It has not been developed before because of insufficient resources now. Because of the Dryad's territory, Su Yi doesn't need to worry about resources at all. You can't say how much you want, but at least the basic expenses can be guaranteed. That being the case, then make good use of your god-level culling talent and become stronger. With a plan in mind, the next step is to implement the plan. Crazy acceleration. Training time flies. It is already 5 days later. The troop strength in the tree demon's territory has increased significantly. The number of subspecies Earth Dragon has exceeded 150. The number of orc warriors has exceeded 200, and the number of Leyling and snow monster has exceeded 200. The quantity is large, and the level is not low. Greatly enhance the defense of the Dryad territory if we cooperate with a giant dragon. Suya predicts at this stage, there is no lord who can take down the territory of the tree demon, not even an alliance. In addition to the arms, the city wall of the tree demon territory has also been upgraded to level 5. Durability changed. More, it is simply impossible to break through the city wall under the noses of thousands of higher-ranking troops. After arranging the affairs here, Suya was about to leave. The brother and sister stood on the city wall and bid farewell. Remember what I said before, the training of units cannot be stopped. The Dryad auction continues, and the currency obtained from the auction is exchanged for resources, and then the resources are trained into units. This cycle will make the number of units in the territory of the Dryad more and more. Understand? Suzir nodded to express her understanding. The eye circles are a bit red. This was the first time she was stationed in a territory by herself. Although she was protected by powerful troops, she still felt uneasy. Suya hugged the little girl into his arms and patted the back. Brother believes in you, it will be fine. Chapter 127, Forbidden Curse Skill, Skyfire Liao Yuan, second watch for subscription. After explaining the matter, Suya climbed onto Blazing's back, still the same as last time. Suya left only with Blaze. The other dragons are left in the territory of the Dryad in case of any eventuality. Suzir stood on the city wall, watching Suya leave on Chilai, and wiped the crystals in the corners of her eyes with her hand. Then he clenched his fists and gritted his silver teeth. Don't worry, bro. I will definitely not let you down. After finishing speaking, Su Kyaner went down the city wall and deployed troops on the other side. Suyi had already left the range of the tree demon's territory. He rode Blazing all the way to the north. It has been almost 20 days since I returned to the star field last time. 20 days of development have changed the world again. The jungle that covers the city is thicker occasionally. You can see a lot of secret places or something. As for territories, there are more in number. The territory certification altars are not all refreshed on the first day of the end of the world. Instead, there is a time period that will be refreshed from time to time. Therefore, even 1 year after the end of the world, job changers can still find uncertified lord certification altars in the wild. This can be regarded as a chance for job changers who started late. All the way to the north, Suya overlooked the ground and found many well-developed territories. The grades are mostly 2 and 3. Such a territory already possesses certain combat effectiveness. With more preparation, it is not difficult to conquer white, green, or even blue secret realms. Coupled with a market system, it is a good choice to buy some high-level arms for land reclamation. How many lords officially entered the stage of rapid development after the market system was opened can be described as countless. After 1 day, Suya officially entered Hanan City. Looking down on the ground from the sky, surprised Suya, haven't seen you for nearly a month, and this place has changed a lot. The first is the human territory. After entering Hanan City, Suya saw more than 50 large and small are distributed around Hanan City. There are also many secret realms that have been refreshed. Most of them are lower level, though white, mostly green, and blue are rare. As for the purple ones, only Suya probably has 2. Flying out of Hanan City, Suya went straight to Maniu Mountain, but before he fell from the sky, there was movement near the purple centaur secret realm behind the star domain. Realizing this, Suya frowned. Damn, I just came back and caught up with the matter and flew over with a blazing look. It really is on the ground below. One-timers are leading hundreds of troops to attack the Centaur secret realm. Even Lin Yangxi frantically resisted with poisonous spiders. However, the number of the opponent's arms is quite large, and the dispute between the two sides cannot be resolved for a while. The battle has stalled. The one fighting against Eve and Lin Yangxi is an alliance called the Blood Alliance. The leader is called Su Xianlong. This guy belongs to the late bloomer series. Failed to become the lord in the first place. When I became a lord, it was already a month after the age of the lord came, but luck, the spirit is good, and I got a tier 3 arms template at the beginning. Then, relying on the rapid development of the market system, it has accumulated a lot of money. Then used the iron-blooded wrist to integrate several nearby territories to form the Blood Alliance with strength. Su Xianlong's ambition gradually grew. He set his sights on the purple centaur secret realm occupied by the star domain. Regarding the star domain, he has been observing it for more than a day or two. Although the level of this territory is as high as level 4, there are only 2 women stationed there. Therefore, this made Su Xianlong move his mind. No, today, he brought all his troops in an attempt to snatch the purple secret realm in the open space in front of the centaur secret realm. The battle continued. Holding a bow and arrow, Su Xianlong kept shooting forward. Let me attack and kill these 2 little girls. Then this purple secret realm will be ours, and the territory on the other side of the mountain can be used as our base. Ha 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 ha! Encouraged by Su Xianlong, the lords under him became even more excited, charged forward bravely with troops in front of the Centaur secret realm. Even Lin Yangxi struggled to resist Skeleton Dragon and Blazing Three Crazy, killing the Blade Spiders also scattered to resist the invasion of the Blood Alliance. As for the stone-throwing giant, he was not to be outdone, and threw huge stones forward. Although Su Xianlong has many types of troops, their quality is not as good as that of the star field. All of a sudden, those who were beaten were also beaten, but this didn't make Su Xianlong feel like retreating. He has a ruthless personality, and he must get what he likes, just like this secret place in front of you. Damn it, do you really think that high-level units are great? Try this, Su Xianlong said viciously while talking. He took out a scroll-like thing from the Lord's space, ready to open. Scroll of Forbidden Curse, Liao Yuan of Heavenly Fire. Description: open the scroll to summon the forbidden spell skill of Liao Yuan of Heavenly Fire to the designated area, causing huge damage to the hit target. Chapter 84. Note: the power of this skill can be called devastating. Please use it carefully. It's very nice of you to force me to use this thing. Su Xianlong gritted his teeth, just about to open the forbidden spell scroll. Suddenly, there was a loud dragon chant from the sky above his head, which shocked him all over, and he almost didn't throw the scroll of forbidden spell in his hand. He quickly looked up, only to see that at some point in the sky above his head, a fiery red dragon had already appeared, tens of meters long. The wings covered the sky and the sun, covering the ground with a huge shadow. Fuck, what kind of foreign aid is this? Su Xianlong was a little uncertain that the other lords were even more confused and shocked for a moment. He forgot to attack and even Lin Yangxi from outside the Centaur mystery. Just looking at it is the heart ecstasy. It's blazing. Big brother Su is back. That's great, Lin Yangxi exclaimed softly, feeling a lot lighter in her heart. Waving the staff in his hand, he recovered several wounded troops. Chapter 128. Prelude to the Age of the Undead. The loud and clear dragon chant resounded from the sky in the canyon, deafening. It even turned the faces of many job transferees pale with fright, almost falling to the ground. Su Xianlong was also uncertain about what happened to the sudden appearance of the giant dragon. As for Su, he didn't give Su Xianlong too much time to think about it, and he swooped down from the sky on Blazing at an extremely fast speed. Su Xianlong only saw a shadow flashing across the air, followed by a scorching wave of air rushing towards his face. The scorching dragon's breath, fell from the sky, crazily engulfing everything in front of it. Before Su Xianlong could even react, his whole body was swallowed by the dragon's breath and turned into fly ash. The same goes for the other lords around him. Fierceness appeared, and a breach appeared in the Blood Alliance. The army was defeated like a mountain, and together with even Lin Yangxi, the three of them rushed forward crazily and beat the Blood Alliance to the ground. 3 minutes later, except for some job changers who stood far away and fled immediately when the situation was wrong, all the members of the Blood Alliance died one after another. Dead bodies were everywhere, most of them turned into coke. Suya jumped off Qilai's back, walked to Su Xianlong's body, and picked up a scroll from the grass. Lost a detection skill to check. Suya frowned. Forbidden spell skill Skyfire Liao Yuan. It seems that Su Xianlong has a good chance. At this stage, he can even get this thing. The so-called Scroll of Forbidden Spells is actually the super magic sealed in the scroll by the great magician once summoned. Powerful magic will be released from the scroll. With considerable power, it's no wonder that Su Xianlong has the guts to find trouble in the Starfield territory most of this scroll is relying on. But now, this good thing belongs to Suyi. There are several types of curse scrolls, including offensive scrolls, control scrolls, defensive scrolls, and healing scrolls. This day, Liao Yuan is an offensive scroll, which is very powerful and will definitely be useful in the future. While Su Yi was looking at the scroll of the forbidden spell, Lin Yangxi and Eve had already walked towards this side. Brother Su, what about Zir? Didn't she come back with you? Lin Yangxi looked left and right, looking for Su Kainer's figure. Su Yi smiled sheepishly. She stayed in the tree demon's territory, and she still needs to guard over there, so she didn't come back with me. Lin Yangxi nodded when she heard the words, but it can be seen from the expression that this little girl is a bit disappointed. After all, Su Zir is her closest person after being apart for such a long time. It is inevitable that we will miss each other. What's up with them? Su Yi pointed to the Blood Alliance members and asked. Eve and Lin Yangxi looked at each other, and explained, it's the Blood Alliance. They've been coveting the Centaur secret realm for a long time, and we're going to do it today. Fortunately you came back in time, otherwise we don't know what to do. Blood Alliance. Su Yi narrowed his eyes. He didn't have much impression of this name. Presumably the last life was not too strong. Clean up the battlefield, let's go back, Su Yi said. The two women agreed to straighten out the troops, and the group headed towards the star field. On the way home, Suya began to question herself about leaving this place. What happened in the star field? Eve and Lin Yangxi didn't dare to hide anything, so the coefficients came out apart from the Blood Alliance this time. The secret realms occupied by the Starfield territory have also been harassed sporadically. However, they were all repulsed by the two women, so there was no danger. The three of them talked and returned to the Starfield without knowing it. Suya sat down in the Lord's Hall. Lin Yangxi poured a glass of water for Suya. Aside from being harassed in the secret realm, are there any other problems? Suya took a sip and continued to ask. I thought the two girls would say no. Everything is going well, as everyone knows. Lin Yangxi immediately heard this, nodding. Yes, but it doesn't seem to have much to do with our territory. Tell me the story. Suya became interested. Having regained his first life, he is well aware of the dangers of the Lord's era, so he is not going to let go of any clues. Near the territory here, there is an additional monster, which only appears at night, and it is some skeletons, Lin Yangxi said. Her pretty face turned pale thinking of the ugly faces of those guys. She felt chills all over her body. Eve echoed from the side. According to my estimation, there should be some undead units. There are a lot of them, and there are various forms. They will appear at night, wander in the wild, and attack any creatures they see. Undead and skeleton. Suya grasped these two key words, pondered for a moment, and then his pupils shrank suddenly. If this is the case, is it won't come so soon? Suya was secretly bitter. Lin Yangxi and Eve looked dumbfounded. Brother Su, why are you here so fast? The speed of those skeletons is not fast. Lin Yangxi was a little puzzled. Suya waved his hand. Nothing. Do you have any other discoveries about these undead units? Undead arms. This matter is no small matter. Suya had to be enough. There is actually a big reason why he chose to return to the star field now. One of them is related to the undead. Lin Yangxi and Eve didn't know what Suya was thinking, but they also said what they knew. Undead soldiers have various forms, very scary. They usually only come out at night, and you don't see them during the day. About 5 days ago, we started to discover this situation one after another. We have killed the invading undead several times. Like other monsters, we can gain experience points. The two of them added at once. Suya listened carefully and wrote down the meaning in his heart. Undead soldiers only appear at night, and all information is completely consistent with a previous life. However, shouldn't this be an accident that will happen half a year after the advent of the Lord's era? Now the Lord's age has only come for 2 months. Could it be the butterfly effect caused by his own rebirth? Suya thought to himself after listening to Eve and Lin Yangxi's report. Suya stood up. I know about this matter, and I will go and see it myself in the evening. Chapter 129. A resource of 100 million, a more subscription required. After coming out of the Lord's Hall, Suya went straight to the orchard behind the territory. After arriving at the place, Suya found that the 2 spiritual fruit trees planted here had grown into big trees. Now there are even some small green fruits growing on it. Swaying gently with a breeze, the 2 tree demons brought back last time were busy under the tree. When they saw Suya coming, they quickly got up and saluted. Suya waved his hand, telling them not to be too polite. Then he went around again to make sure there was nothing wrong. Then Suya turned and left. As soon as he walked near the dragon's nest, Suya saw Lin Yangxi releasing an aurora carrier pigeon. Who are you sending the letter to? Suya asked. Lin Yangxi giggled. For Kyaner. I want her to know that you have returned safely. Suya's expression moved. He didn't expect Lin Yangxi to be so careful. Now Suya is guarding the tree demon's territory alone. She must be lonely and lonely. If she can receive the letter from Lin Yangxi, she will definitely feel at ease. This point, even Suya didn't think of it. Well, I will leave it to you to send messages to Zira in the future. She must be a little lonely there alone. If she can communicate with us, the situation should be much better, Suya said. Lin Yangxi nodded. She had already thought so. Then, Suya went to another open space in the territory, opened the unit ring, and released 50 tree demons from it. These were all brought back from the tree demon territory before he left. After all, the Starfield territory is Suya's main territory, and the food here hasn't been found yet, so we can't let it go. Of course, there are Vulcan's members among them. This guy is my little brother, so please help if you can. 50 tree demons have just arrived, and some of them are looking around helplessly. Suya didn't talk nonsense with them, and directly took out 10,000 units of Jinkala fertilizer from the Lord's space, using these fertilizers to cultivate several spiritual fields in this territory. Can it be done? Chapter 85. The Dryads looked at each other, looked around, and then nodded. Seeing this, Suya snapped his fingers. Okay, let's get started. After finishing speaking, Suya returned to the Lord's Hall, opened the market trading system, and listed 10 stone-throwing giants in it. Speaking of which, I haven't sold goods for a long time, and now I have more than 400,000 coins in my pocket, and 300,000 of them belong to Suzera. The stone-throwing giant was put on the shelves again, and it immediately attracted the attention of a large number of lords. In less than a minute, it was swept away and tens of thousands of coins were credited. Suyi opened the system wall again, and bought 10 level 10 resource packs in it. After opening, 100 million basic resources were obtained. Now, the resource reserve of the star domain is as follows: Lord's Hall, Lord, Suyi level 4 Alliance, no subordinate territory, Warhammer tribe, Dryad territory building. 32 arms, Giant Dragon, 10th tier, Centaur, Tier 4, Blade Spider, 4th tier 4, Goblin, 1st tier, Red Armored Fire Ant, 4th tier 4, population 36 timber, 140,000 stone, 140,000 iron ore, 140,000 gold coin, 100,000 food, 80,000 currency, 90,000 upgrade needs, wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins are each 5 million. The 4 basic resources have exceeded 100 million, which is very scary with resources to back him up. Suyi began to fight violently. The first to be violent is the giant dragon. Now the dragon nest is still level 1, only 10 giant dragons can be trained. It costs 1.6 million lumber, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each to upgrade the dragon nest to level 2. It is expected to take 48 hours. After the voice fell, the upgrade of dragon nest began, and it would take up to 48 hours. Even if Suyi has a 99% cooling reduction, it will take about half an hour. Suyi didn't wait long, but went straight to the castle of the stone-throwing giant. The level of this stone giant city has also been raised. It costs 1.2 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each, and the level is upgraded to level 3. It is estimated to take 36 hours. Seeing the resource reserves drop by nearly 30 million in an instant, Suyi was a little speechless. Sure enough, high-level arms are burning money. Then there is the lair of the Blade Spider, and the level has been raised to level 4. It costs 4 million resources. It will take a lot of time for the upgrade to start. Suyi didn't wait. Instead, taking advantage of the time is still early, I am going to visit several secret places. Well, it's actually harvesting resources. 25 days have passed since Suyi last harvested resources. These secret territories must be full of various resources. After explaining to Eva and Lin Yangtze, Suyi set off on a blazing horse. Passing quickly from the air, it went straight to the secret realm of the Purple Centaur. After arriving at the place, all the corpses of the Blood Alliance members have been refreshed. Of course, most of them were devoured by other monsters wandering here. Suyi didn't care too much, and walked into the secret realm after falling from the sky. As soon as they entered the secret realm, 20 centaurs ran up to Suyi. The Centaur 1 has reached the highest level, with a body in locks and a spear in hand, majestic and majestic. Seeing the Lord Suyi coming, the centaurs bowed and saluted with a respectful attitude. Suyi waved his hand casually, and led Suyi towards the centaur camp in the middle of the secret realm. I haven't been back for nearly a month, and not much has changed here in the camp Lord's Hall. There are resource packs piled up, big and small, which makes people happy. Suyi waved his hand and put away everything. 25 purple secret realm resource packs can produce about 60 million basic resources. The resources to continue the violence have fallen after leaving the Centaur secret realm. Suyi then went to the Blue Orc secret realm. Here is also full of resources, but no food packs. Presumably, the food in the entire secret territory has already been looted by the Red Armored Fire Ants. After collecting the resources, Suyi took a look at the Red Armored Fire Ants. Haven't seen them for a month. They are really big changes. The entire ant nest covers an area of more than 100 meters. Chapter 130 Undead Soldier, Skeleton. The entire nest rises like a small hill. It is surrounded by entrance and exit caves. Dense swarms of red-armed fire ants are crawling around in the cave. It made Suyi's scalp feel a little numb. If it wasn't for knowing that he was the Lord, these guys wouldn't take the initiative to attack him. Suyi really wanted to immediately leave. It's too scary. Even scarier than when I was attacked by red armored fire ants in the wild, perhaps smelling the breath of living things. Many red armored fire ants crawled out of the nest. At this moment he ran to Suyi's feet and surrounded him. The two tentacles on the top of the head touched Suyi lightly. As if remembering his smell, Suyi gently drove these little guys away, and then threw a detection skill information at the ant nest as follows. Red armor fire ant nest, level, Tier 4, level 4. 2 units. 10 training template. Red armor fire ants training cost, gold coin 0, food 1 training time, variable upgrade required, wood, stone, iron ore, Gold ore 4 million each. Time 24 hours. The training unit has reached the full value of 100,000. This number is not small. Based on Suyi's estimate, if this amount of red armored fire ants were to mobilize, they could easily wipe out any 4th level territory, of course, except for those guarded by giant dragons like star domains and giant domains. After all, it has a wide range of long-range attacks and can fly. It is the natural enemy of the red armored fire ants. Coming back this time, Suyi is rich and powerful, so naturally he won't be stingy. Open the operation panel directly, and raise the level of the red armored fire ant nest by 1 level again. It consumes 4 million lumber, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each, and the red armored fire ant nest is upgraded to 1 level. It is estimated that it will take 24 hours. It wasn't too long. Suyi decided to sit and wait. He didn't want to go back here again. After about 15 minutes, the upgrade is complete. The nest level of the red armed fire ants is 3 trainable units reach 200,000. Not much to say, just train directly, spending 5 million gold coins and 100,000 food. Successfully trained 100,000 red armored fire ants. As soon as the words fell, the red armored fire ants nest shone with light, and the training began. The extremely large queen ants that have been fed continue to lay eggs. Afterwards, it hatches and becomes a new red armored fire ant, serving the population. This seems to be a perfect production line. Suyi smiled knowingly and rode away on blazing. Then Suyi traveled to several other secret realms and gained a lot of resources. By the time Suyi returned to the star field, the sky was already getting dark. Upgrades to Dragon Lair, Slinger Giant Camp, and Blade Spider Lair have also been completed. The information is as follows: Dragon Nest, level, 10th level. 2 units. 10 training template, Giant Dragon training cost. 200,000 gold coins. Conditions: training time 2400 hours. Upgrade requirements: wood, stone, iron ore, gold ore 640 each. 10,000. The time is 96 hours. Slingering Giant Camp, level 7 level. 3 units. 30 training template, Slingering Giant training cost. 60,000 gold coins. Training time 6 hours. Upgrade required: wood, stone, iron ore, gold mine each 2.4 million, time 72 hours. Blade Spider Lair, Tire 4, level 4. 4 units. 20 training template, Blade Spider training cost. 10,000 gold coins. Training time 10 hours. Upgrade requirements: wood, stone, iron ore, and gold mine 8 million each, time 128 hours. Among them, the number of training units in Dragon Nest reaches 50. In other words, as long as Suyi has enough gold coins, he can own 50 giant dragons. 1 dragon is scary enough. 50 dragons, ahem. It's a bit devastating. Secondly, the catapulting giant can train 200 heads, and the blade spider can train 500 heads. If all of them are trained, it's unimaginable how terrifying the troops in Suyi's hands will be. Of course, Suyi gold coins are enough for the wall. High-level units are certainly strong, but burning money is not generally ruthless. Burning tens of millions every minute is just a joke. Fortunately, Suyi has harvested several secret realm resources just now, and now there are 234 gold coins left. That's right, more than 200 million. The calculation method is as follows: Purple Secret Realm produces Purple Secret Realm resource packs, each with 250 resources. 250 equals 6.25 million in 25 days. The 2 purple secrets are 625, plus the blue orc secret 250, the green forest wolf secret 125, and the white goblin secret 625. Finally, add the remaining resources of the territory. The final reserve is 200 million. With this number, even Suyi himself was a little dazed. It has only been 2 months since the Age of the Lord came, and he has already accumulated 200 million resources. I have to say, very strong. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Suyi began to train arms, spending 8 million gold coins to train 40 giant dragons, spending 6 million gold coins to train 100 slinging giants. It costs 4.5 million gold coins to train 300 blade spiders. The gold coins lost 190 million in an instant, making Suyi's breathing a little short. This is also the reason why he didn't fully train the slinging giants. Otherwise, the gold coins consumed will be larger than now. Suyi still has other uses for the remaining 40 million gold coins, so I will keep them for now. After making sure there was no problem here, Suyi went to the kitchen to prepare for dinner. According to Lin Yangxi and Eve's description, those undead monsters will only appear after night falls, just in time. After dinner, Suyi was going to investigate at the very least, to find out whether it has anything to do with that incident or not. If so, Then Suyi must make preparations in advance, even take the initiative to attack and eradicate that territory. The content of dinner is barbecue with wild vegetables. The taste is not bad. Suyi is very happy to eat. While eating, Eve suddenly stopped what she was doing, and her pointed elf ears trembled slightly, as if she heard something coming. Chapter 86. Suyi's expression froze. He put down his bowl and chopsticks and rushed out of the Lord's Hall. Only then did I hear clearly. A crisp sound of crossbow arrows piercing through the air resounded on the city wall. That's the heavy crossbow attacking automatically. So, who is harassing the territory? It should be those undead monsters that have appeared. Go and see. Eve said he was the first to run towards the city wall. Suyi didn't hesitate, and quickly followed after. Climbing up the city wall in 2 or 3 steps, Suyi looked towards the open space in front of the city wall, and only then did he see it. Dozens of troops with strange shapes are walking towards this side. That's right, a skeleton. Chapter 131. Traces of the main city of the undead. Beg for flowers, beg for tickets, beg for everything. There is no flesh and blood, the whole body is made of bones. The walking speed is very slow, and there is even a creaking friction sound when walking, which makes the scalp numb. As soon as these guys appeared, they walked towards the star field in groups. After entering the attack range of the heavy crossbow, he will encounter the attack of the heavy crossbow. A crossbow arrow the thickness of a human arm pierced rapidly, and the sound of piercing the air resounded. Pierced through the bones of these guys in an instant, smashing their bodies to pieces. The bones were scattered all over the place. Eve and Lin Yangxi stood behind Suyi, and when they saw the scene below, they also frowned. This number is much higher than the previous 2 days. Lin Yangxi was a little uncertain. Eve gritted her silver teeth. It's not like it's really increased. Suyi didn't answer, but just looked at the skeletons to himself. The attack range of the heavy crossbow exceeds 50 meters, and the distance is not close. In addition, it is night and the line of sight is blocked, so Suyi can't see the skeletons clearly. After thinking about it, Suyi made up his mind and decided to go out and have a closer look. You stay here, I'll go out and have a look, Suyi said. After all, don't wait. Lin Yangxi and Eve realized that Suyi had already descended from the city wall, passed through the city gate, and went straight to the open space in front of the city gate. After getting out of the attack range of the heavy crossbow, Suyi finally saw the true faces of those skeletons. It is said to be a skeleton, but in fact there are quite a lot of types. There are human skeletons, goblins, and even centaurs and orcs creaking out of the ground. A faint blue flame floated in the hollow skull. That is the fire of the soul, which is the source of power that supports the actions of these skeletons. Suyi threw out his detection skills and checked the information of a humanoid skeleton, as follows: undead skeleton, level, tier 3 level, 2 HP, 27 attack, 52 defense, 42 speed, 11 skill, intimidation. Undead creature unique skills, they are symbol of horror and horror, intimidating the target. There is a 20 chance to make the target fearful, and the whole body attribute is reduced by 20%. This skill has huge randomness. As long as the target is bold enough, intimidation will not work. Use a weapon to slash the target, causing a lot of damage, and has a 0% chance of infecting the target with undead poison. Undead poison, deduct 50 points from the target every second. Last 10 seconds. 1 can be superimposed to 10 layers. 10 description: after death, the flesh and blood rot, and is resurrected by the necromancer. The puppet of the clan inherits 50% of the strength of the previous life, and is not afraid of death, pain. 10 After glancing at the skeleton's attribute information, Suyi frowned even more. He remembered very clearly that in the last life, half a year after the Lord Era came, a similar thing happened once. Later generations called it the resurgence period of the undead. The so-called undead recovery period is not global, but only occurs in certain specific regions. Hanan City is one of them. The mystery of how the undead recovery period came about has also been solved. That is the ghost of the main city of the undead. What is the main city of the undead? In fact, it is also a territory, but the people living in this kind of territory are the undead. The Archons are a legion of necromancers. They have a very terrifying ability, that is, they can resurrect the dead. Of course, this resurrection is not a real resurrection, but to revive them in another form and become undead for those necromancers to trend. Suyi still remembered that the recovery period of the undead within Hanan City in the previous life lasted for 1.5 years. In the past year and a half, the number of undeads has grown exponentially. It has threatened the security of the territory within Hanan City several times. It was also during that year and a half that more than half of the territory within Hanan City was breached and turned into territory of the undead. The power of the undead is getting stronger and stronger, and the geographical expansion is also accelerating. This attracted the attention of the lords. Hundreds of lords joined together and began to counterattack. Suya also participated in that counter-offensive. Millions of lords and troops were dispatched to take back the territories occupied by the undead one by one, and finally found the main city of the undead. After paying a lot of casualties, the main city of the undead was destroyed in that battle. The losses were great, but the gains were not small. The main city of the undead has existed for a year and a half. It has been searched everywhere, and it has a direct supply of resources from the hell world. After it is captured, the materials inside can be called terrifying precious undead units, massive resources, precious props, everything you expect. It's a pity that there were too many lords participating in the battle at that time, and these resources were divided equally, and there were not many lords who fell into the hands of each lord. However, the attraction of the main city of the undead is still there in this life. The main city of the undead appeared so early, so you guess it should be the reason. The butterfly effect speeds up the process of certain things. That being the case, he will not be polite to this main city of the undead. He is very jealous of the few high-level items inside. If they can be obtained, hell, he suppressed the thoughts in his heart. Suya took out a streamer, and hacked the skeleton walking towards him to death in 2 or 3. Then he turned around and walked towards the star field. Lin Yangtze and Eve had already been waiting for a long time, and when they saw Suya coming back, they rushed up to greet her. "Brother Su, how are you doing? Did you find anything?" Lin Yangtze asked. The first time she told Suya about this matter, she could see something was wrong with Suya. It seems that this matter is very important at this moment. After Suya personally inspected it, the little girl was naturally curious. Su Yi couldn't say anything about the main city of the undead, so he had to haha. This is the resurrection of the undead. Perhaps there is a necromancer near our territory. When Eve heard this, she clenched her fists. If such an ugly and evil existence as the necromancer appears, we must look for it and kill it as soon as possible. It was exactly what Eve wanted in Suyi's mind. He nodded. That makes sense. Let's rest first. Tomorrow, we'll look around and try to find its traces, and then kill it. Chapter 132, The Blood Dragon and the Sacred Dragon. The next day, Suya got up early in the morning. An unprecedented lively scene appeared in the territory. Giant dragons, catapulting giants, and blade spiders occupy almost half of the territory, especially the giant dragon, with blaze. There are 43 heads in total. Each head is extremely huge. Entrenched near the dragon lair in the star domain, it was so powerful that it made one's scalp tingle. The same is true for Suyi himself. Being stared at by so many dragons, a little dry with a light cough, I forcibly suppressed the excitement in my heart, which made me feel much better. Lin Yangtze and Eve were also attracted by the grand occasion here. They didn't even cook breakfast. Kiki ran towards here. Oh my god. 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4 have a total of 43 dragons. My god, it's so spectacular. The little girl Lin Yangtze counted the number of dragons and said excitedly, and Eve, at the moment, is completely dumbfounded. From the first day I met Suyi, this guy appeared in front of me with a giant dragon. At that time, I thought that Suyi was just a human who stepped on dog shit and was favored by a giant dragon. Later, Suyi had Han Bing, Xiaogu, Yin Lei, Blazing number 2, Blazing number 3, Han Bing number 2, and Han Bing number 3. 10 giant dragons were enough for Yi. Fu was shocked. Now, Suyi has produced more than 40 giant dragons, plus those scattered in the secret realm and the tree demon territory. The number of Suyi's giant dragons is as high as 50 heads. What a huge force this is. Gulu. Eve swallowed a mouthful of saliva. I'm not dreaming. Suyi snapped her fingers. Of course not. Let's go and see our new members. With that said, Suyi led the 2 of them towards the dragon's nest. This time, 40 giant dragons were summoned at one time, and 2 new species of giant dragons appeared. One is a blood-colored giant dragon covered with blood-red scales. There is also a silver dragon surrounded by a warm holy light among the dragons. Blazing is the well-deserved big brother. Seeing Suyi approaching at this moment, it immediately let out a dragon cry. When the surrounding giant dragons heard the sound, they all fell silent. Dozens of pairs of huge dragon eyes looked towards Suyi. Suyi is fine. Lin Yangtze and Eve's complexions immediately turned pale. Terrible. It even made them feel threatened. Threatened with death, Suyi began to look at the new species of giant dragon, as follows: Blood Dragon, level, 10th level. 1 loyalty. 10% life. 200,000 attack. 10 defense. 10 speed. 50 food consumption. 10 equipment, no skill, bloody shock, launch a charge from the air. Summon blood mist at the same time. Make your whereabouts become erratic during the charge. The self is immune to any control effects, all attributes are enhanced by 30%, and it will cause a powerful blow to the enemy blood riot. Open a riot field with a radius of 30 meters. Any unit with blood within this range will passively enter the berserk state, the blood rushes, and those who are unable to resist will directly explode and die. Blood armor, draw the blood of nearby enemies, and coagulate a layer of blood-colored armor outside the body, which is extremely hard. During the duration of the blood armor, the self-defense will be doubled, and the consumed blood armor can be replenished by drawing blood at any time. Devour to heal. Blood dragons have a very high desire for blood. Devouring blood can heal injuries. The severity of the injury determines the time to heal the injury. This ability is very domineering, and even as long as it is not dead, it can be fully recovered. Description: one of the most domineering and warlike species in the giant dragon family. It is powerful, balanced in various abilities, and has a strong recovery ability. It is known as an invincible freak. Seeing this attribute information, Suya was stunned for a moment. A freak who can't be beaten to death is worthy of being a freak who can't be beaten to death. Chapter 87. Damn, it's too overbearing. Add defense, and you can heal yourself, no matter what. Suffering from various injuries, even if there is only a little life left, it can be recovered and healed by absorbing the surrounding blood. Even the 4 skills are specially derived for fighting. Although there is no passive skill, the power of the blood dragon is beyond doubt. After checking the attributes of the blood dragon, Suya looked at the giant dragon surrounded by holy light. This guy is smaller than other giant dragons, and the scales on his body are very beautiful, like silver-white gemstones, shining brightly. The most astonishing thing is the aura of holy light that surrounds this guy, like the holy light of the angel statue, when it is irradiated. You can feel a very comfortable warmth. Holy Dragon, Tier 10 level. 1 loyalty. 10% life. 150,000 attack. 80 defense. 80 speed. 50 food consumption. 10 equipment, no skill. Holy light shield. Holy dragon summoning belt. Heal the magic energy of the breath, and get the holy light shield for the selected 200 units. The shield can resist a lot of damage for the target, and find the set to get the holy light shield, and heal the wounds that the target has already suffered. Holy light. Summon holy light to the designated target, hover above the head, and heal the target's injuries. After the target's HP is fully recovered, it will temporarily increase the upper limit of the target's HP by 20%, and it can affect up to 50 targets at the same time. Holy Flame Impact. Spit out a beam of light with sacred attributes, launch an impact on the designated target, cause moderate damage to ordinary targets, cause double damage to dark and undead targets, and add the burning effect of Holy Flame. Holy Flame Burning causes 5% of the current HP damage every second, lasts for 3 seconds. 3. A unit can only trigger Holy Flame Burning once within 2 minutes. Holy Amplification. During the battle, it will cause a 15% attribute increase to allies within 50 meters from the center. Holy Dragon. Priest among dragons. There was a light in Suyi's eyes. Not only is it a priest, but it can also enhance the ability of allies on the spot, which is a panacea. The healing ability is also very strong, and it can also set up shields. Powerful. Too powerful. With this giant dragon around, Suyi's troops will definitely be much safer in battle. Chapter 133. Necromancer. Second watch for subscription. This time, a total of 40 dragons were summoned, including 6 blood dragons and 3 holy dragons. The rest are fire worms, frost worms, bone worms, and lightning worms. From this point of view, blood dragons and sacred dragons should be rare species among giant dragons. Of course, their power is beyond doubt. The blood dragon tends to fight alone, while the holy dragon is the priest of the team, which can heal injuries and bless. The ability is very comprehensive, and it is a rare combat power. After patrolling around to make sure there is no problem here, Suyi went to the caster giant camp and the blade spider lair again. Training in both places has not yet been completed. After all, the number is too large, but even so, there are still a large number of blade spiders and stone-slinging giants moving around their respective lairs, which is very spectacular. Suyi looked at it with joy in his heart. This was his first step towards becoming a strong man. The riots have officially begun. Of course, the joy in my heart turned into joy. Suyi still did not forget today's mission, calling Chilai and the other flame dragons. Suyi is ready to set off with the 2 girls. Our main task today is to patrol around the territory and try to find the origin of those skeleton soldiers, Suyi said. Lin Yangxi nodded, expressing that she had no objection, but he frowned. Lord, shouldn't those skeleton soldiers only appear at night? If we search for them during the day, it will be much more difficult. The corners of Suyi's eyes twitched, Of course he knew this. The so-called daytime search is actually just to cover the main city of the undead is roughly in that direction, and he already knows it. The reason why I asked Lin Yangtze and Eve to accompany me to look for it was nothing more than to make the whole thing look more reasonable. Try it. If you can't find it during the day, then we will act at night. Suyi let out a ha-ha. Only then did Eve let go of the doubts in her heart, and climbed onto the back of the dragon with Suyi. The three people fly in three directions respectively. As for the other giant dragons, they were all ordered by Suyi to guard the territory. Suyi rode blazing, extremely fast. Go east, Suyi ordered. He knows the coming of the age of the undead, so he still has memories of the location of the main city of the undead near Henan City. It should be in a canyon to the east. It was so hot that he took Suyi straight to the east of the star across high mountains and dense jungles. One man and one dragon flitted across the air against the strong wind. After flying for about 10 minutes, Qilai slowly slowed down under Suyi's order. At this moment, at the end of Suyi's field of vision, several large mountains appeared. On one of the mountains surrounded in the middle, the mountain split, as if a sharp sword fell from the sky, splitting the entire mountain. A long dark ravine appeared in the mountain. The ravine is long but narrow and close to the mountain. The top position is covered with various vines, which block the sunlight. Therefore, this ravine, even in the daytime, is completely in a state of darkness. The harsh sunlight outside does not come in, making the place dark and cold. It should be here. Go and have a look, Suyi ordered. Blazing wings trembled, leading Suyi forward. Not long after, one person and one dragon reached the sky above the ravine. As soon as he arrived at this place, Suyi realized something was wrong. An incomparably rich dark aura lingers around. Looking down from a high altitude, you can even see that there are many undead units active in the dark ravine. That is to say, there are a lot of moving bone frames, densely packed into dark caves. Seeing this scene, Suyi can already confirm that this is the main city of the undead. Memories of the previous life flooded in. He remembered that the army of millions of soldiers in the previous life fought against the main city of the undead here. Of course, at that time, the main city of the undead was already very huge, covering all the surrounding mountains with a radius of tens of kilometers. It occupies a very large area. In the deepest part of the dark ravine in front of me, there should be a gate leading to the plane of hell. The necromancers come out of that gate, and then revive nearby creatures. Everything has suddenly become clear. Suyi began to inspect the surroundings, taking note of the terrain here as much as possible, so as to ensure that the troops will be dispatched later. Blazing flew in the air, and the whirring sound of piercing the air sounded, quickly attracting the attention of the undead creatures in the ravine. Thousands of skeletons looked up at the sky. Inside the hollow skulls, the faint blue soul fire flickered, making people sweat on the back. What's more, it even roared at Blaze, which was extremely terrifying. After Suyi turned around, he didn't stay for long, patted Blazing's head, and one person and one dragon started to return. As soon as he left, a change occurred in the ravine below. The skeletons, crowded together like sardine cans, automatically moved out of the way, lowering his head. The fire of soul in his head burned more intensely in the deepest part of the aisle. A figure in a black robe appeared in front of the skeletons. This figure couldn't see the face clearly. The black robe covering his body was fluttering, and he was holding a long sickle in his hand. What is even more frightening is that this guy is suspended in midair. In other words, it has no legs and walks in the air. If Suyi was here, he would definitely be able to tell at a glance that this, an old man with a terrifying appearance, is the necromancer. The necromancer raised his head, looked at the direction Suyi was leaving, and let out a ho-ho laugh. He ho-ho. The dragon turned out to be a giant dragon. This is a good material for transforming undead. The sound is terrifying. It sounds like fingernails scratching a blackboard, sharp and ear-piercing, making people get goosebumps all over their bodies. When the undead around heard the necromancer's words, they roared excitedly. The scene was very strange. Chapter 134, Upgrading the Star Domain. Suyi naturally didn't know that he had been discovered by the necromancer. At this moment, he has returned to the sky above the star field. Lin Yangtze and Eve haven't come back yet. Suyi fell from the sky first and returned to the city. The current level of the star domain is level 4, and the total population of the territory is only 100. That's a little too little. Therefore, Suyi decided to raise the level of the territory today. Just let the newly trained troops adapt to the battle and prepare for the battle against the main city of the undead tomorrow. Thinking of this, Suyi did not hesitate, and directly raised the level of the Lord's Hall. The consumption of wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins is 5 million each, and the level of the Lord's Hall has been successfully upgraded. It is estimated that it will take 24 hours. The prompt sounded, and a progress bar appeared above the Lord's Hall. and the upgrade started. After finishing these, Suya went straight to the castle of the catapulting giant and began to plan the battle. The slinging giant is a long-range attack with high damage ability, so Suya decided to let them climb the city wall and use them as catapults. The slinger's training continues, however, this does not affect this battle, because the number of catapult giants that have been trained has reached as high as 120. Having these slinging giants in the fight is enough to stabilize the situation. All units obey the order and climb the city wall. Suya ordered when more than 100 stone throwing giants heard the words. They all made creaking sounds, transformed from stones into giants, and walked towards the city wall in a mighty manner. Then, Suya went to the spider's nest of the blade spider. The training here is coming to an end. More than 300 blade spiders densely occupied half of the camp. Black fluff, blade-like spider legs, and terrifying, scarlet compound eyes. Chapter 88. That is to say, Suya has watched too much, otherwise, seeing so many blade spiders for the first time, he would have to break out in a cold sweat. You guys, be ready to charge at any time. Suya ordered. The blade spiders blinked their compound eyes and remembered Suya's order. Finally, Suya walked towards the dragon's nest. There, a total of 41 giant dragons were waiting for him. After arriving at the place, Suya began to plan the battle. The number of bone dragons is 8 as natural meat shields. They will block the city gates to prevent monsters from destroying the city walls. The city gate is opened, and we go straight away. Then there are all kinds of flying dragons. They have the ability to fly, and they are extremely fast and maneuverable, and they are on standby in the territory at any time. After arranging the work of the dragons, Suya boarded the city and looked towards the open space in front of the territory. At the end of the field of vision, a black line gradually. That's a monster, an endless monster. There are many more monsters than the last 5 battles in the giant territory. The upgrade of Lord's Hall has also come to an end with a ding. The upgrade of the Lord's Hall is complete. Ready to fight, Suya shouted, and the sound of flapping wings pierced the air from the city behind him. More than 30 giant dragons flew high and hovered over the territory under the leadership of Fierce. In addition, hundreds of blade spiders are sliding rapidly. The blade-like spider legs cross the city wall and hang upside down in the air, ready to attack at any time. The stone-throwing giants who had already deployed on the city wall raised the stones in their arms that were bigger than the millstone above their heads, ready to throw them out at any time. The monsters committed in the future will be smashed into meatloaf. The monsters who came to attack the city were extremely fast, like 10,000 horses galloping, and swept towards this side. The irritable old brother Chilai couldn't wait. A loud dragon chant sounded, and he took the lead with dozens of dragons to attack. Skimming over the city wall, it flew to the top of the monster army. In the blink of an eye the attack begins. The flame dragon swooped down, fell from the sky, and at the same time they spit out the dragon's breath. They summoned the lava hell under their feet. Hot and boiling magma emerges from the ground, burning all monsters that enter the range. The frost dragon exhales cold air, slowing down many monsters, even freezing them. A frozen everything, which freezes the monsters within the range into ice lumps in minutes. The lightning dragon was not far behind, and the zesty electric arc lingered around its body. Thunderstorms are thrown out one by one, falling in the monster camp, causing explosive damage. What caught Suya's attention the most was the blood dragon. This is a newly summoned giant dragon with powerful abilities, but it has never fought in front of Suya at this moment. 6 blood-red figures flew across the monster's head. The sharp dragon claws flickered, killing monsters one after another. Finally, it falls from the sky and opens the riot field. The monsters in this range only feel that their bodies have become swollen while the pain was unbearable. The blood vessels all over his body burst open one after another. Dots of blood rushed out along the sky, rushing towards the blood dragon, and the blood dragon took the opportunity to condense a layer of blood armor in just a few seconds. A large number of monsters died from their corpses. A lot of experience points emerged and poured into the bodies of the blood dragon. Such a violent fighting style made Suya's scalp tingle. It's terrible to draw blood and let the enemy die in extreme pain. In the air, 3 sacred dragons swayed holy light, adding attributes to the dragons, and at the same time putting shields on them help them resist damage from the surroundings. The number of monsters attacking the city this time is extremely large, and it is estimated that it should exceed 50,000, and among these 50,000 monsters, most of the ranks are 4th rank, and 5th rank. There are quite a few 6th and 7th ranks. As for the 8th level, it is not completely absent, but it is only a rare existence when the territory is upgraded. The quality and quantity of the refreshed siege monsters are determined according to the strength of the territory. There are 40 giant dragons in the star domain, not to mention anything else. This alone is enough to raise the siege monsters to several levels. But having said that, although there are many monsters attacking the city this time, The Starfield territory is not a vegetarian. As soon as more than 40 giant dragons came out, they immediately disrupted the attacking formation of the monsters. Even for a long time, no monster could break through the blockade of the giant dragons and approach the city wall of the Star Domain. This made Suyi a little depressed. Why don't you bring such a round bag? Can't we just put some monsters over here? Haven't you seen the blade spiders here? Already impatient. Chapter 135 Departure in 2 days, 1 more subscription required. Although the giant dragon is powerful, the goal of the 50,000 siege monsters is the Starfield. After all, after being sniped, a part of the troops were quickly separated and rushed towards the city wall. Seeing this, Suyi waved his hand. It's time for us to play. Attack. Following his order, more than 100 slinging giants deployed on the city wall launched an offensive. Together throw the boulder raised high. Crack the brains of monsters, smashed head by head. Slowed down the approaching speed of the monsters. Again, more than 300 blade spiders are more straightforward, even though their rank is only 4th rank 4, but under the order of the Lord Suyi they all became brave and fearless, swishing and swishing 8 slender spider legs, rushing towards the city wall. Entering the battlefield begins with breaking through the defense line and fighting the monsters coming towards this side. The 8-headed bone dragon is not idle, moving its bony limbs, dragging its bulky body, and joining the battle. The big battle is about to break out. Suyi finds the right opportunity to let Blazing return and jumped on Blazing's back, joined the dragons, and joined the battle. Just kidding, such a good opportunity to mix experience. He can let go of the fearless field, and the whole body attributes of the arms close to him will all skyrocket by more than 40%. This made the giant dragons, who were already in the upper hand, become more brave with one big move. Dozens or even hundreds of monsters can be killed. Blue experience point light spots emerge densely from the bodies of these monsters, divided into several strands, and poured into the bodies of Suyi and several giant dragons. Under the impact of these experience points, Suyi's level began to increase slowly. Congratulations, your level has been raised to level 19. Congratulations, your level has been raised to level 20. Congratulations. The battle was fierce, and nearly half of the monsters were killed in a short time. Corpses were piled up into hills, densely arranged all over the battlefield. In the distance, Lin Yangtze and Eve returned together at this moment, seeing the scene of the battlefield in front of the Star Domain. He was stunned. What's the situation? Why are there so many monsters? The Lord is over there. Let's go and have a look. After speaking, the two speeded up and flew towards Suyi. Soon, the 3 parties converged. Suyi's killing monsters was refreshing. When he saw the 2 of them coming back, he showed a smile. You guys are back. Lin Yangtze swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and pointed at Joe. Brother Su, what's going on? Suyi chuckled. I raised the territory level. This is monster attack. Don't waste it. Let's fight together. This is a good opportunity to gain experience points. Hearing this, Lin Yangtze and Eve looked at each other, a little confused, but soon, they all joined the fight. As Suyi said, this is a good opportunity to gain experience points. Why did the 2 refuse when they could guarantee their own safety? The 3 of them rode a giant dragon and ran rampant in the monster camp. Although you can't kill monsters directly, you can throw a monster around from time to time. Skills or something can still be mixed with a lot of experience points. The harvest is gratifying. The whole battle lasted about 2 hours, and it was coming to an end. A last small batch of monsters were dealt with by a blazing breath of the dragon. This guy's body flashed, and he finally raised his level to the full 10th level. Compared with a newly summoned 1st level flame dragon, the 10th level blazing body is several times larger. The whole looks more powerful and domineering. The muscles were knotted, and the dragon scales shone with a faint red light. Clean up the battlefield. Suyi ordered. The goblins in the city who did not participate in the battle ran out from the city gate and began to pick up the spoils on the battlefield. No way, as low-level troops, this is the only way that can serve Suyi now. After ensuring that all the monsters were killed, Suyi returned to the star field with his troops. In this battle, he has gained a lot. His level has been raised to level 23, and his attributes have greatly increased. The attributes are as follows: name, Suyi; occupation, warrior; rank, class level; 23 command power; 32 health points; 78 attack; 20 defense, 80 speed. 20 equipment, Cheyenne armor, flowing light skill, heavy attack, charge for 1 second, launch a fierce attack on the target, causing 7.5 times damage, 10% chance to cause dizziness, whirlwind slash, rotate at a very fast speed, cut out a series of sword ki, and inflict multiple damages on the targets within the range. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. Fearless Field, centering on oneself, open a field with a radius of 200 meters. The army in this field will increase its basic strength by 100%, and will not be deterred by high-level arms. A radius of 200 meters and a 100% attribute increases the full value, and the protagonist will not be able to get the increase if the protagonist's level is increased. The attributes are almost equal to those of Tier 5 arms. In addition, even Lin Yangtze have also raised a lot of levels, 17 and 16 respectively. The attributes will be sent to the relevant work. And interested brothers can check it out. 3 people 3 fall from the sky riding a giant dragon. Go back to the Lord's Hall to rest. Just leave it to the soldiers to clean up the battlefield and clean up the corpses sitting around the conference table in the Lord's Hall. Su Yi began to ask, did you find anything during this trip? Even Lin Yangtze looked at each other, and shook their heads together. We flew hundreds of kilometers, but we didn't find anything related to the undead. Maybe we guessed wrong. The undead appeared through other means of. Facing Lin Yangtze's doubts, Su Yi curled her lips and said, I found something here. These words attracted the attention of the 2 women. Brother Su, what did you find? Lin Yangtze was the first to ask. She was just curious, very curious. Su Yi seemed to be very concerned about this matter, so she really wanted to know what it was that made Su Yi pay so much attention. There are quite a few opponents. Get ready. I am going to set off in 2 days, and take down there. The 2 girls were shocked when they heard the words, and when they were about to ask more questions, Su Yi had already left. Chapter 136. 100,000 red armored fire ants, attacking. Second watch subscription. Su Yi has already determined the exact location of the main city of the undead. However, he couldn't determine the scale of the main city of the undead, exactly how big it was. However, according to the memory of the previous life, Su Yi guessed that the scale of the main city of the undead should exceed the 5th level territory. That being the case, if he wants to attack, he needs to be fully prepared. First of all, the arms. The dragon, the stone-throwing giant, and the blade spider are his most commonly used arms. Now these three types of arms must be taken with you, especially the 3 sacred dragons, which are the key to destroying the main city of the undead. Holy type units have a very obvious suppressive effect on undead and hell type creatures. In addition to these 3 arms, Su Yi also decided to bring the red armored fire ants. It's been a while since I kept these guys. This time, it's a good opportunity for them to serve Su Yi. It is also to increase the success rate of this operation. It was a decision Su Yi had to make. Time flies. It is already 3 days later. In the past 3 days, the training of the troops in the star domain has been fully completed. There are nearly 400 blade spiders, 200 stone-throwing giants, and 43 giant dragons. In addition, Su Yi also used these 3 days to upgrade the city walls of the star domain. The durability of the 4th level city wall is much higher than that of the 3rd level city wall. Thinking that the time was almost up, Su Yi greeted even Lin Yangtze, and prepared to set off for the main city of the undead. When the 2 girls heard the words, they naturally didn't dare to be negligent, and hurriedly rectified the issue. Su Yi, on the other hand, took this opportunity to go to the Blue Orc's secret realm and gather the red armored fire ants. After several days of training, the number of red armored fire ants has reached more than 120,000. Su Yi decided to take away 100,000 red armored fire ants. The remaining 20,000 will be used to maintain the ant nest and protect the queen. After giving the order, dozens of exits of the ant nest, a burst of spewing, a total of 100,000 red armored fire ants crawled out of the ant nest, densely occupying a small half of the forest. Su Yi felt goosebumps all over his body when he looked at it. The number of 100,000 is not a joke, coupled with the fiery red carapaces of the red-armed fire ants. It looks like a converging Red Sea. Set off, Su Yi ordered. He rode blazing and took the lead towards the orc secrets. Hundreds of thousands of red armored fire ants followed one after another, turning into a red torrent and rushing forward. Soon, Su Yi rode blazing out of the secret realm, and the red armored fire ants followed closely through the entrance of the secret realm. Continue to rush forward. Don't look at these guys, are not big, but the speed is not slow. Led by Su Yi, They soon joined Eva and Lin Yangtze in the front of the star field, but when the two little girls saw the 100,000 red armored fire ants on Suyi's body, they both gasped, although they already knew that Suyi had cultivated red armored fire ants. They had never expected that Suyi had cultivated so many. If this sea of red were to rush towards them, they would be able to chew them up in minutes. Eat to the bone. Horror, indeed horror. Let's go. Suyi interrupted the astonishment of the two little girls. The two of them woke up with a start and coughed, likely to hide their embarrassment at the same time. They were thinking again, this time to fight against the main city of the undead. The Starfield territory can be said to be fully mobilized. What kind of existence is the territory that can be treated like this by Suyi? It's really scary. It's too late to think about it. The army gathers, and everyone continues to set off. The sleeping giant leads the way, followed by the blade spider. Then came the red armored fire ants. As for the giant dragons, they are secret combat powers, and have been included in the unit ring by Suyi. Wait until their place and then take it out. It will definitely give the undead a big surprise. A huge legion is rushing towards the main city of the undead. There are too many hesitating core, so the forward speed has been affected a lot. It took a full 2 hours before the canyon where the main city of the undead was located appeared at the end of Suyi's field of vision. It's over there. Suyi pointed to the front. Eva and Lin Yangtze looked intently, puzzled from this position. The distance is still far away, so they can't see anything. The order goes on, and the whole army rests for half an hour. Suyi ordered. The corners of Lin Yangtze's eyes twitched, a little confused. Brother Su, why did you have to rest for half an hour? As soon as the words fell, before Suyi could reply, Eve had already spoken. The battle is imminent, and the legions have just been on the road for 2 hours, which consumes a lot of energy, which is a disadvantageous factor for the battle. Hearing this, Suyi snapped his fingers. That's right, let's all rest. With that said, Suyi also used his lord's authority to take out food from the lord's space and distribute it to the troops. Fill them up. This is also very necessary. Only the arms that fill their stomachs are the most effective in combat. The soldiers stationed temporarily, and after a full half an hour, Suyi got up and gave the order to continue to set off. The corps marched forward in a mighty manner, heading straight for the cracks in the canyon. It was noon at this moment. The sun was shining brightly in the sky, and the dazzling and intense sunlight was falling from the sky. The undead are afraid of the sun, and even the bright sun in good weather will cause harm to some weak undead. Today is such a fine weather for Suyi. It is a good opportunity to attack, and this is also the reason why he decided to attack today. After crossing 2 high mountains and a plain, everyone finally arrived at their destination. Compared with the scorching sun outside, it looks much cooler here. Of course, this is not pure shade, but that kind of horrible, gloomy atmosphere lingering around. Array, prepare to attack. Suyi ordered sharply. The troops in the rear quickly changed their formation. The sleeping giant with thick blood and high defense stands at the front, followed by the blade spider. As for the red armored fire ants, they were divided into 2 groups by Suyi and arranged on both sides. Attack! After Suyi's voice fell, the catapulting giants began to walk forward. The stone as big as a millstone in his hand has been raised above his head. The huge and bulky body paced neatly, causing the ground to tremble slightly. Chapter 137 Battle against the Undead Legion. Canyon cracks. The habitat of the undead. Sushi noticed the slight vibration of the ground, and many undead who fell into deep sleep woke up one after another. The fire of the soul burns more and more intensely, and the body made of bones makes a creaking sound and walk out of the crack. When I saw the plane in front of the crack, a large number of troops were rushing towards this side. The undead who were not so bright raised their heads and roared. Great movement. After a while, more undead were awakened in the cracks of the canyon. Thousands of undead began to revive inside the hollow skull, made by falling into deep sleep. The feeble fire of the soul is rekindled, burning brightly. The body made of skeletons moved and walked towards the outside of the canyon. At the deepest part of the crack, the necromancer was awakened, and ran outside with his scythe in hand. After seeing Suyi, my heart trembled wildly. It turned out to be the horrible hoarse voice of that kid necromancer 3 days ago. The next moment, under the black hood, there was another burst of sharp laughter that made the scalp tingle and the roots of the teeth ache. Well done, kill them all, just to replenish my undead army. Chapter 90. Saying that, the necromancer floated onto a stone platform. He held up the black sickle in his hand, and said something in his mouth. Sleeping warriors, please respond to my call. Wake up, kill any aliens you see, and use their blood to wash your bones. Then came a series of gray and difficult to understand runes stimulated by the power of the runes. Dense roars resounded in the cracks of the canyon. The ground cracked, the soil was flying, and centaur knights emerged from the soil. Their flesh and blood have decayed, leaving only a decayed skeleton armed with a spear and a round shield. He is majestic. In addition to centaur knights, there are many other undead soldiers drilled out of the ground, for example, undead swordsmen, undead orcs, undead griffins, and undead demon wolves are of various types, and the number is even more daunting. The entire crack is filled in minutes. The necromancer had no choice but to order an attack. The summoned undead soldiers roared and rushed out of the canyon. After all, they are creatures that are resurrected after death, and the behavior seems a little silly. Everything needs the necromancer's order. On the plain outside the canyon, the battle has begun. The first undead came within range of the slinger. Big stones were thrown out, drawing beautiful arcs from the air. Finally, bang 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 fell into the group of undead. Under the powerful impact, the rotting bones of the undead couldn't resist it at all, was blasted to pieces in minutes. However, the undead are numerous. The slinging giant only solved a small part of them. More undead troops marched from everywhere, rushing towards Suyi. The long-awaited blade spiders attacked swiftly. It turned into hundreds of black after images, rushing forward. Their sharp forelimbs cannot cause too much damage to the undead. Overt injury. Therefore, according to Suyi's previous order, the blade spiders will use venom spraying in this battle. The horrible and ugly mouth parts open, squeezing the poison sac on the head. Pieces of purple venom spewed out from the blade spider's mouth parts sprinkled on the bones of the undead soldiers. The venom is highly corrosive and does great damage to the undead. When the gray-white skeleton came into contact with the venom, it made a hissing sound and emitted white smoke, and was instantly corroded into small pits. Combined with the sharp and extremely fast forelimbs of the blade spider, it penetrates into the hollow heads of the undead in an instant. Put out the fire of the soul. The fire of the soul is the source of power of the undead creatures. As long as the flame is extinguished, the power of the undead creatures can be taken away. Instantly turn them back into a heap of dry bones. Repeatedly, within a minute of the start of the battle, a large number of undead creatures were killed. Gray and white rotten bones covered most of the plain. Stepping on it, there is a crisp cracking sound, which makes people frightened. The stone-throwing giant and the blade spider are all on the stage. The red armored fire ants brought out to fight for the first time are naturally not far behind. The little guys came in groups of 3 and 4, attacking the undead creatures from all directions like blade spiders. They also use venom to attack. When Suyi first discovered the red armored fire ants, these guys posed a big threat to the 10th order bone dragon. What's more, most of the undead creatures they are facing at the moment are at the 3rd level. And the 4th level is 4. In terms of bone strength, they are definitely not as good as the bone dragon. 3 to 5. The head of the red armored fire ant pounced on the skeleton of the undead creature. Acidic venom is secreted, extremely corrosive. It can corrode and break the bones of the undead in minutes. Most importantly, the number of red armored fire ants is extremely large. It's as big as 100,000. Taking 5 red armored fire ants as a group of combat units, there are full 20,000 groups. What is the concept of 20,000 groups? In other words, 5 red armored fire ants form a combat team, and 20,000 groups can cause damage to 20,000 enemy units at the same time. In this way, it has to be said that it is extremely terrifying. The battle is imminent. Suyi, Lin Yangxi, and Eve rode blazing, guard in the rear, looking at the undead soldiers gushing out of the cracks in the canyon like a flood. I was a little frightened, especially Lin Yangxi and Eve. It was the first time for the two of them to see such a tragic battle, not to mention the invisible ones. Even the number of undead that can be seen now has exceeded 50,000, compared with a level 5 siege battle a few days ago. It is even more terrifying. How come there are so many? Lin Yangxi swallowed a mouthful of saliva and clicked her tongue. Suyi was expressionless. The necromancer who appeared here probably dug up all the nearby corpses. Fortunately, we came early. If we let it continue to develop, a month later, before Suyi finished speaking, both Lin Yangxi and Eve shuddered. It's too scary. I dare not think. Chapter 138. Attribute Restrained. Double damage in the crack of the canyon. Because of the outbreak of the battle, 555 necromancers appeared again. They gathered together, singing gray and difficult to understand runes in their mouths. Dispersed strands of undead power. The undead sleeping underground and on both sides of the canyon woke up one after another inside the hollow skulls. The fire of the soul swayed, driving their bony bodies to move. Creak, creak. There was a dense and noisy friction sound, and an army of tens of thousands of undead swarmed towards the crack. Confront Suyi's army. Seeing this noisy and chaotic scene, Lin Yangxi and Eve felt chills in their hearts. Even Suyi felt rejoiced. The power of this undead gathering place is even more terrifying than he imagined. It seems that it is the right choice for me to bring all the troops of the Star Domain to go out this time. Secondly, choosing to go out now is also the right decision. Otherwise, if the main city of the undead is allowed to develop, let alone for a long time, it will definitely be several times more terrifying than it is now. In 1 month at that time, it will be much more difficult to eradicate them at this moment. The army of undead launched a charge. Suya no longer held back open the arms ring, and the more than 40 giant dragons stored in it were ordered to fly out one after another. The huge body has a great deterrent effect. Flap your wings and join the battle. The flame dragon, the ice dragon, the bone dragon, the lightning dragon, the blood dragon, and the holy dragon broke into the monster camp one after another. The flying ones launch raids from the air. Those who can't fly, like bone dragons, turn into bulldozers and rush towards the undead camp. Huge body, hard bones, and a defense that is so high that it makes people hopeless turn the bone dragons into tanks. Crazy crushing a large number of undead into broken bones. They are both undead creatures, fighting against undead creatures. There is no question of whether to suppress or not. However, by killing undead creatures, they can gain more benefits than other units. One is experience points, and the other is the soul fire in the skulls of undead creatures. Absorbing this light blue flame can strengthen the bone dragon's own soul fire in order to achieve the effect of enhancing the strength of the bone dragon. Therefore, several bone dragons are working extraordinarily hard in this battle. Every time they launch a charge, they can increase their own strength, which makes them never tire of it. And other battle dragons, similar to flame giants, giant dragons, and lightning dragons fighting against the undead is pretty standard. Dragon breath, ice, lightning sprinkle with 3 completely different powers to kill all undead monsters. Last but not least is the holy dragon. As rare giant dragons with sacred attributes, their holy flame attack can cause double damage to undead monsters. The holy light poured down, and golden horses shot out from their mouths, sweeping across the crowd of monsters. Swish, swish, all of them deal double critical damage. The life value of the undead hut bottomed out, instantly turned into shattered bones. Countless blue points of experience point from they emerged from their bodies, turned into torrents, and poured into the bodies of the 3 sacred dragons. Su Yu was shocked by such a terrifying clearing ability. Of course, the rewards are not small. A few holy lights struck down, killing thousands of undead creatures under the impact of countless experience points. It is not impossible to upgrade instantly. A few minutes later, the level of the 3 sacred dragons was raised to level 3. While the attribute is greatly increased, the lethality to undead creatures is stronger. Chapter 91. This scene fell into the eyes of Lin Yangtze and Eve, making them dumbfounded. Damn it, it's too strong. Lin Yangtze uttered a rare swear word. Suya snapped his fingers. It's just suppressing the attributes. The sacred attribute crushes the undead attribute, causing double damage, and basically 100% critical strike. It's no wonder that the undead can stop it. Lin Yangtze's face froze, and then she came back to her senses. I am also a priest, and I also have sacred attributes, so if you say that, my holy punishment can also cause double damage to undead monsters. Suya laughed. Is it possible? You'll know if you try it. After finishing speaking, Suya sat down with a pat on Blazing's back, making a slap. Zhili as a militant, seeing his fellow dragon rampage in the monster camp, he couldn't bear it long ago. At this moment, with Suya's instruction, without further ado, he flapped his wings and headed in the direction of the undead army. Lin Yangtze was eager to try, and quickly took out her staff, first put a shield on the nearby troops, and then joined with Suya to attack the undead. Holy punishment, that is Lin Yangtze's exclusive skill. Raise the staff, summon a beam of holy light, and deal damage to the enemy. Usually, this skill does moderate damage to ordinary monsters. Now, Lin Yangtze will go down with a holy punishment. 2 critical hits are dealt instantly, and the undead monster hit has lost more than half of its HP before it can react. Seeing this scene, the little girl was overjoyed. Speed up the hand. Swish swish swish. Holy light fell uninterruptedly, and cooperated with the units below to kill many undead monsters. The light blue experience points quickly gathered towards her, increasing her level. Eve was not idle, and took off the sunset bow that was straddling her shoulders. Start shooting like crazy. Arrows whizzed out of her hand, killed many undead monsters. Among the 3, Lin Yangtze and Eve are long-range attack units, but Suya is a fighter at this moment. The only way to maintain this life is by playing soy sauce. Of course, he is not completely useless. The enhanced attribute of the fearless field is quite powerful. Within a radius of 200 meters, more than a dozen giant dragons were enveloped. The attributes of more than a dozen giant dragons skyrocketed by 100%. That is, double. This made the giant dragons, who were already in a crushing posture, instantly become heads. The life value is hundreds of thousands, millions of kinds. Even if you stand and let those undead skeletons hack, it will take a lot of time to hack to death. Chapter 139, Hexagram Array. Summon Bone Demon. In the crack of the canyon, the 6-headed necromancers who gathered were stunned. Berlin. Didn't you say there was only one giant dragon? What's going on now? A necromancer asked a question. The sound is as sharp as fingernails scratching a blackboard. The necromancer known as Bolun was the one who appeared first. Facing the question at this moment, Some of them didn't know how to answer. Human beings are very cunning. Henry, you don't understand this, Bolon said, but his confidence is obviously not as strong as before. Just kidding. How much confidence do you have when you see someone bringing 40 dragons to attack you? The most disgusting thing is that they have a sacred dragon, which is the natural enemy of the undead. Another necromancer gritted his teeth. The eyes looking at the 3 sacred dragons are full of fear. Even if the impact of the holy flame from the mouth of the holy dragon fell on it, it would never feel good. This time, we are in big trouble. We must find a way to deal with these giant dragons. Otherwise, the portal to hell behind us may be destroyed. At that time, we will not be able to bear this responsibility, Henry said coldly. The other necromancers looked at each other, feeling a little apprehensive. They are the first batch of undead to enter this world, responsible for maintaining the portal leading to hell before coming. That existence gave a death order to let them stick to the portal, and there must be no problems at all. But now that Suyi brought 40 giant dragons over the land, the portal might be dangerous. Bol unclenched his paws that had turned into bones. Since this is the case, then we have no choice but to use that trick. Several necromancers in that move were a little moved in the end. Henry made a decisive decision and raised the sickle in his hand above his head. That move is the one. Hurry up, get ready. After the voice fell, the 6 necromancers moved their bodies and stood in 666 corners respectively. A simple 6-pointed star formation is formed afterwards. The 6 people chanted the runes at the same time, and the obscure notes floated out of their mouths. After a few seconds, black light appeared from the bodies of the 6 people. The 6-pointed star array was formed, and several thin lines exuding evil purple light connected the 6 people together. A black beam of light rose into the sky from the heads of the 6 people. In an instant, the sky became dark, with dark clouds appearing from nowhere, blocking the glare of the sun. A palpitating breath came out from the black cloud few. A streamer of purple light flew out from the clouds, then fell into the canyon. The undead near the purple streamer, as if they were stimulated by something, gave up the battle in their hands and swarmed towards the purple streamer. The decayed gray-white skeletons piled up together, forming a smaller and more purple streamer that attracted the undead army from the dark clouds, forming hills made of skeletons. This scene fell into the eyes of Suyi and the others, which stunned Lin Yangxi and Eve. My God, what the hell is that? Lin Yangxi, he whispered, his voice trembling a little. Eve's complexion is also very ugly. She has some understanding of the undead, but she has never seen a situation like this. The hills made of bones are extremely huge, and they are even trembling slightly, as if there are something is about to burst out of the ground. Suyi naturally also saw this scene, and couldn't help frowning. 6-pointed star formation. It seems that the necromancers here still have some strength. As soon as the voice fell, the 6 skeleton mountains that had formed in the undead camp in front suddenly made a muffled sound. Boom boom boom. The gray-white skeleton exploded, countless soul fires splashed, danced wildly in the air, and finally gathered together inside the mountain of bones. A huge body is slowly standing up. The whole body is made up of broken bones. What kind of skulls, arm bones, vertebrae, etc. are all glued together, which looks extremely scary. The soul fire gathered together seemed to have life, and sank into the head of this big guy with a whoosh. In an instant, the big guy came to life, and stretched out its huge bone claws to attack the dragon. AWW. The dragon was hit and fell from the sky after smashing dozens of undead creatures below into pieces. They flew up again. Is this a demon? Eve bit her red lips and whispered. Suya didn't speak, but just threw a detection skill at one of the behemoth's. Bone demon level, no combination monster, special body level, no combination monster, special body. HP 20 attack, 20 defense, 25 speed, 30 skill. Kingshan bone claw. Slap the enemy with a huge bone claw, wrapped with great power. Once it hits the enemy, it will cause extremely high damage. Roar of the undead. Open the huge mouth, emit a sharp sound wave, impact the opponent, cause some damage, and have a 50% chance to cause a deterrent effect. Deterrence effect. The target's whole body attributes are reduced by 30%. Bone demon explosion. Take off a certain part of your body and explode it. The violent explosion will shatter the bones and form splashing bone slag. Moving at high speed, the bone slag is very powerful. Description. Horror monsters summoned by at least 6 necromancers in a 6-pointed star array. They have no grades, no levels, and extremely high attributes. They are extremely dangerous horror monsters. Seeing this attribute information, Suyi swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Definitely a bone monster. The life value is as high as 2 million, which is simply medium, but it doesn't matter. Suyi has 40 giant dragons here. Is it possible that he can't defeat the 6-headed bone demon? In the last life, The main city of the undead has become popular, and there are tens of thousands of bone demons summoned by the necromancers. Didn't the human beings still beat them down? Come on, defeat them, Suyi ordered sharply. 40 giant dragons obeyed the order, divided into several groups, and went straight to the bone demon. The bone demon has no fixed shape, its whole body is made up of bones, its size is huge, its height is more than 50 meters, it is very terrifying. The dragons attack from all directions: flame, ice, lightning, holy light. Don't spend light money, it is easy to break a big hole in the bone demon. Chapter 140, The Infinitely Resurrected Bone Demon. The most striking thing is naturally the 3 sacred dragons. They are incompatible with the attributes of the undead, and under the impact of the holy flame, the bone demon will be beaten and howled. In particular, holy flame shock deducts a percentage of HP. What does it mean? What does it mean? No matter how high the bone demon's HP is, how high its defense value is, or the damage dealt by the holy dragon, it will not be affected anyway. It is the life value deducted by the percentage. Under the continuous bombardment of the giant dragons, the bone demon's life value dropped rapidly. The body made of skeletons began to crack, and small pieces fell off at the same time. The counterattack belonging to the bone demon also started. What kind of bone claws? Roaring of the undead, explosion of bone demons, crazy attacks. The dragons are very fast, they are air units, and they are extremely mobile. Therefore, the so-called bone claws of bone demons have almost no effect on them. Bone claws cannot hit them as long as they are prepared in advance, and the roar of the undead is the same. The giant dragons are 10th tier units, which are rare high-level units, and are inspired by the dragon gods of the flame dragon and the frost dragon. The deterrence from the bone demon can also be ignored. Chapter 92. Finally, bone demon explosion, which should be the only ability that can cause damage to dragons. Take off your own body parts, ignite the fire of the soul, and explode the body under the super explosive force. The removed body parts will split instantly, driven by the explosion of the soul power. The shattered bone slag spread around at an extremely fast speed. Even dragons will be hurt in the face of this skill. Fortunately, as the main battle, the dragons are all wearing shields. For example, Lin Yangxi's Holy Word Shield, the Holy Dragon's Holy Light Shield, and so on. The 2 shields can be stacked together, which is enough to resist a lot of damage for the dragons in this way. The bone demon is less of a threat to the dragons under Suyi's order. The 40 giant dragons launched a more violent attack, sprinting wildly, beating the 6 skull demons. Screaming. However, this scene fell in Suyi's eyes, but it didn't make him relax. He is well aware of the consequences of the appearance of the bone demon. Bone demons are special monsters summoned by at least 6 necromancers using a 6-pointed star array. The stronger and more necromancers participating in the hexagram array, the stronger the summoned bone demon. And as long as there are enough ordinary undead in the field, necromancers can create such monsters without limit. For example, now, 6 necromancers make up the 6-pointed star array, and they can summon 6 skull demons at most. If one of the skull monsters is killed, the 6-pointed power is still there. It is completely possible to create another bone monster in an instant. To put it simply, the existence of bone demons is not themselves, but the necromancer behind the manipulation. Only by finding a way to kill the necromancer can the bone demon be completely solved. Otherwise, the bone demon will be defeated and recovered, and Suyi will be caught in an endless cycle. At that time, the strength of the giant dragons will be exhausted, and the loser will be himself. This was the result Suyi didn't want to see. Therefore, he must find the 6 necromancers just as he was thinking. The 2 besieged bone demons in front were blown up by the giant dragons almost at the same time. The huge body exploded and turned into countless broken bones, scattered all around. Haha, they are not very strong. They made me worry for nothing. Lin Yangxi let out a sigh of relief, but just after she finished speaking, 2 streamers of purple light fell from the dark clouds above the battlefield with 2 sounds. It fell into the undead camp. The same scene as before began to reappear. Countless bones piled up together, condensed into a huge bone mountain. Then the mountain of bones moved, and a huge monster emerged from the ground. It was a brand new bone demon. Seeing this scene, Lin Yangxi was dumbfounded, almost didn't roll off Blazing's back. Fortunately, Suyi had quick eyesight and quick hands, and grabbed the little girl. It's just that he used too much force, and suddenly pulled the little girl into his arms. The little girl came to her senses, blushing, and broke free from Suyi's arms. Brother Su, what the hell is going on? Why is there still a bone demon? Suyi clenched his fists. The bone demons are summoned by the necromancers. We must find a way to find the necromancers and kill them. Otherwise, the bone demons will be continuously summoned. Hearing this, Lin Yangxi and Eve turned pale. Come on, this is a big problem. Being summoned continuously. Isn't that equivalent to being invincible? Then why don't you beat me up? Brother Su, where do you think the necromancer might be? Lin Yangxi asked again. She is a priest, the attribute of Shiank undead. Now that Suyi proposes a solution, she naturally has to follow closely. Suyi looked around and finally settled in the depths of the canyon there. It is surrounded by countless undead monsters. It is so dense that it is not an exaggeration to say that it is impenetrable. If I'm not mistaken, they should be in there. Suyi pointed to the depths of the canyon. Lin Yangxi exchanged glances with Eve upon hearing this. But there are so many undead over there, how can we get there? Suyi sniffled. You guys stay here, I'll go alone. But Eve stopped talking, but was interrupted by Suyi. Don't be so. You guys are here together. Not only, you won't be able to help me, but you will become my burden. Stay here and maintain the battle here, Suyi said. Eve and Lin Yangxi lowered their heads, feeling a little inferior. Although Suyi's words were cold and harsh, they were also true. There is indeed a big gap between their strength and Suyi's, and if they stay together, they will be hindered instead. If so, leave it at that. Stay here, be careful, and wait for me to come back, Suyi exhorted. He patted Fiery on the back. The latter understood, retracted his wings, and flew towards the other side over there. Blazing 3 waited for a long time. Suyi was also straightforward. Grabbed the 2 little girls and shook them lightly. The 2 of them flew across the air and landed on Blazing number 3's back without any mistakes. Chapter 141. Blazing vs. Necromancer. After arranging the 2 girls, Zhi turned around and led Suyi towards the crack in the canyon. There are the most undead creatures over there, almost surrounding the entire canyon crack, so Suyi concluded that the most likely place for the undead mage should be over there. Blazing speed is not slow, carrying Suyi on his back, facing the strong wind, directly hit the cracks in the canyon from behind. Lin Yangxi and Eve watched Suyi leave, with worried eyes. They don't even know what a necromancer looks like. However, it can be vaguely guessed at being able to summon such a powerful existence as the bone demon must not be weak. Most importantly, Suyi just mentioned that at least 6 necromancers are needed to summon the bone demon. That is to say, wait a minute, Suyi needs to face at least 6 necromancers, which is a huge challenge. Inside the canyon fissure, 6 necromancers headed by Henry formed a hexagram array, constantly outputting energy. Ha! Our bone demons can't be killed. Those humans outside must be terrified. Burn let out a hoarse laugh as soon as the words fell. Another voice sounded. No, that human kid seems to be coming. After all, the 6 necromancers all looked out of the crack in the canyon. If this is the case, I can only see a huge dragon in the sky flying towards this side, and on the back of this giant dragon, it is clearly visible that there is still a person standing. That is Suyi. Did this human discover our existence? A necromancer was a little confused. Henry snorted softly. Whether it is or not, it is a good thing for us to find that he is approaching, and we just take this opportunity to kill him. That's right, he should be the leader of the Legion outside. If you kill him, the Legion outside will have nothing to fear. Burn! Echoed the 6 necromancers. Looked at each other and reached a consensus. Well, let's do this. Let's maintain the formation first, and wait for him to approach, Henry ordered. It is the eldest of the 6 necromancers outside the canyon. Suyi crossed a long distance and appeared above the canyon, scanning everything below at the same time. There are 6 pairs of eyes in the canyon, staring at him. He's coming soon. I'm looking forward to seeing us grab him. Baron grinned, watching Suyi gradually enter the canyon crack. It is said to be a crack, but in fact the gap between the cracked mountains is extremely wide, at least 100 meters. So even with a fiery body flying into this crack, it just feels a little narrower. And it doesn't affect its own flight. Sushi sensed the approach of flesh and blood, and tens of thousands of undead creatures gathered in the canyon below raised their heads together, looking at Suyi. And blazing in the air inside the hollow skull, the fire of the soul swayed gently, looking at Tenhua. Blazing flew into the crack of the canyon. The surrounding light dimmed a bit. A cold aura continuously rose from the depths of the canyon, gathering around Suyi. Be careful and look for their existence, Suyi ordered softly. Chi-Li nodded humanly, and the huge Longan swept back and forth in the canyon, looking for something. When he was hundreds of meters deep into the canyon, his fiery expression suddenly changed, and Longan looked towards a certain place in the canyon. Suyi also felt it. The cold air is the strongest here. The so-called cold breath is not the kind of cold winter, the kind of cold wind howling and snowflakes fluttering. It's a terror that makes you feel cold all over. And you can't keep yourself cold. Looking across the canyon, Suyi quickly found the target. Chapter 93. It was a huge stone platform, several meters above the ground. The surroundings of the stone platform are full of monsters of various colors, densely packed, and the number is very large. And on the stone platform, There are 666 figures in black robes standing in an orderly manner arranged in a hexagram-shaped array. Suyi just took a glance to confirm the other party's identity. Necromancer. That's right, the necromancer in the last life. Suyi was lucky enough to kill 1 or 2 necromancers, so he knew their appearance very well and still fresh in memory. Found it. The corners of Suyi's lips curled slightly. Liu Guang had been taken out, held tightly in his hands, retracted his blazing wings, and swooped down with Suyi, heading straight for the 6 necromancers in the canyon. On the stone platform, Bolun looked at Suyi, who was attacking, and sneered, "Get ready, our prey is coming." After the words fell, the 6 necromancers instantly disbanded the hexagram formation. Looking up at Suyi, he was ready. Well, they didn't stand up for battle. In their eyes, Suyi was just a mere human. Even if he was riding a giant dragon, why would he be afraid of them? He was a noble necromancer. Soon, the two sides approached. Bolun began to shout, "Humans, this is a paradise for the undead. If you break in, aren't you afraid of death?" Suyi frowned. "Heaven belongs to angels, and you undead are only worthy of staying in the dark and cold hell." This embarrassment can make several necromancers choked up. "Boy, you are joking with your own life. No matter what, in that case I will accept it." After all, Henry winked at the other necromancers. 2 of them stood up, waving the death scythe in their hands. Rows of pitch-black horses flew towards Suyi. Seeing this, Suyi patted Blazing on the back. The latter understands. Opening his mouth is a mouthful of dragon's breath. Level 10 Blazing, plus Suyi's 100% attribute increase. How high is the attack power with a breath of dragon's breath? The attacking black horse was instantly vaporized and disappeared. Henry was a little surprised to see Suyi dissolving the move so easily. If you have some strength, don't hold back, fight quickly, and take down that giant dragon. By the way, a 10th level unit, transformed into a bone dragon, will definitely be very powerful. After all, Henry was the first to bear the brunt, bringing the rest of the necromancers and floating quickly at the same time. The 6 people and 6 methods came out together, and all kinds of attacks crazily swept towards Suyi. The battle is about to start. Chapter 142 Release Forbidden Spell Skills. Second watch subscription. Suyi frowned, and patted the fiery back of the seat. The latter understood, retracted his wings, and swooped down with Suyi at the same time. The huge dragon's mouth opened, and extremely high-temperature dragon's breath spewed out from its mouth. Resisting several attacks from the necromancer without the hindrance of these attacks, Blazing was unimpeded, and successfully approached the 6 necromancers. This startled them. "Get out of the way, this guy is coming," Henry yelled, but it's already too late. Fierce strikes. What is spit out is not a dragon's breath, but a dragon's chant. The deterrent dragon chant instantly acted on the 2 necromancers in front of them. The explosion-like sound directly caused them to appear momentarily absent-minded. It was this moment of absent-mindedness that made Zhi find the right opportunity and spit out a mouthful of dragon's breath. A scorching energy instantly devoured the 2 necromancers in front of them. The 2 guys only had time to let out a scream, and the life value was emptied, and they fell from the sky. Henry and Bjorn were stunned. "This is attack, undead blast," Henry growled. The necromancers changed their formation, alternated their hands, and made weird gestures one after another at the same time. Above their heads, a purple black light ball is slowly appearing. "Go," Henry gave an order, and the purple black light spheres all flew towards Suyi. Suyi could clearly feel that the purple black light ball contained extreme energy. He frowned a little. "Now, get out of the way," Suyi ordered. Blazing wings trembled, the speed increased sharply, avoiding the attacking ball of light, then find the opportunity to launch the next wave of charge. However, the 2 necromancers who were shot down just now fell into the undead camp, but they did not die. They are protected by the surrounding undead groups. Each undead separates a part of the soul fire and injects it into their bodies to help them recover from their injuries. The life value recovers quickly. Less than a minute. The 2 guys who were still in a mess just now have stood up again. "Damn human, do you really think you can kill the great necromancer so easily?" the 2 necromancers said fiercely. With a movement of his body, he flew back into the sky and gathered with other necromancers facing the resurrection of 2 necromancers. Suyi was not surprised. In other words, everything was in his plan. Necromancers are extremely hard to kill, like the bone demon. As long as there are undead creatures nearby, the necromancer can absorb the soul power of these undead creatures, bless himself, and resurrection is not possible. There is only one way to really kill them, that is to destroy all the undead creatures nearby. In this way, neither the necromancer nor the bone demon summoned by the necromancer will have a medium to heal themselves, so they will naturally be killed accordingly. However, there are at least hundreds of thousands of undead creatures in the cracks of the canyon. It is not easy to kill them all. Suyu was commanding Blazing to fight with a necromancer while thinking about countermeasures in his heart. Suddenly, Suyu saw bright. I remembered something I still remember. A few days ago, when I just returned to Henan City, I happened to see the Blood Alliance attacking the Centaur secret realm. He took action by himself, destroyed the Blood Alliance, and got a scroll of forbidden spell from Su Xianlong, the leader of the Blood Alliance. Scroll of forbidden curse. Heavenly Fire. Liao Yuan has a large attack range and high damage. If it is used here, it should be able to shine. Thinking of this, the corners of Suyu's lips curled up. He is going to give these necromancers a big gift. The battle was still going on. Blazing took Suyu to fight with a necromancer. Although it has the upper hand, it cannot completely kill these guys. Kill and resurrect. Kill and resurrect. Very troublesome, but soon, there will be no trouble. Raise the height and create opportunities for me, Suyu ordered softly. Comprehended fiercely. His wings fluttered, and he took Suyu to fly high into the sky. Just now, for the convenience of attacking those necromancers, Blazing almost flew close to the ground of the canyon. Release the forbidden spell skill at this position. I am afraid it will affect myself, so Suyu's idea is to increase the altitude and release the forbidden spell skills from high altitude. This way, you can ensure your own safety. The scene of Qilai flying high in the sky with Suyu fell into the eyes of the 6 necromancers, making them look down with contempt. Haha, this kid must be scared. He knew he couldn't kill us, so he ran away in despair. It's just a pity that the bone dragon under his seat, if it can be killed and transformed into a bone dragon, it would be great. A few necromancers stinked compared to them. Henry is much more pragmatic. He clenched his fist and sneered. It's a pity that there is nothing to regret. Maybe this kid thinks he can really get out of here alive. The other necromancers are all the same. Henry means you mean. Bjorn hesitated to speak. Henry chuckled. Follow me to kill, and keep all the troops brought by this kid. Suyu's sudden retreat gave Henry more hope of victory, so it decided to play a big one. When Bolun and the others heard this, their relationship was good, and they headed off immediately. They all followed Henry and went straight to the outside of the canyon. Outside, there are more dragons waiting for them. When Suyu saw this, the corners of his lips curled up slightly. Right in his arms, fly forward 200 meters. After giving an order softly, he turned around fiercely, flew 200 meters away from the canyon, and then stopped. Suyu waved his hand, and a scroll appeared in his hand. That was the day the fire started. Have a good taste of this great gift. Suyu grins grimly. I want to ask where the most monsters are on this battlefield. Chapter 94. Naturally, it must be in the aisle connecting the battlefield outside the canyon with the crack in the canyon. Although the place is narrow, tens of thousands of undead monsters are gathered here, crowded around, very lively. And the necromancers, if they want to go outside the canyon, they have to pass through this land. Suyu is planning to end them here. Chapter 143. Level flying. Subscribe for the third watch. Canyon cracks. Under the leadership of Henry, the necromancers rushed straight to the outside of the canyon. Suddenly, Bolun, who was following behind, paused and pointed to the sky. Fuck. What is that? This statement caught the attention of the other necromancers. Everyone looked up in unison. I can only see that the dark clouds above their heads have dispersed a lot at some point. Instead, there is a fiery red cloud, which looks like a burning cloud at the same time. The fiery red cloud was in constant turmoil, like an overwhelming river, and objects filled with terrifying energy appeared in the fire cloud. I feel the powerful fire magic is working. That's right, fire magic that can burn everything. Fuck, run. It must be the ghost made by that human kid. As soon as the voice fell, the fire cloud above the head had already brewed hundreds of fireballs, bigger than water tanks, burning with raging flames, are flying towards this side. The speed was so fast that it almost broke through the sound barrier and made a deafening whistling sound. At this moment, not only the necromancers, but even ordinary undead monsters have noticed something is wrong, want to escape, but there are too many of the same kind around. They are like a sardine in a sardine can, unable to move. They can only watch countless fireballs fall from the sky and hit themselves. Boom boom boom. The explosion sounded, and the heat wave hit our faces. Countless fireballs fell from the sky and fell within the range of the canyon. The sky is on fire. It's really scary. The attack range is super large and the damage ability is super. When a fireball goes down, the impact damage it carries is already a huge number. This is followed by an explosion, where the fireball explodes, dealing burst and splinter damage. The last is the flame, which burns the body and causes continuous damage. Hurrah! Flames rose, and countless damage figures emerged from the top of the undead monsters after only holding on for less than 2 seconds. He was killed. The body was turned into broken bones and burned by the flames. Dots of blue experience points emerged from their bodies, turned into streamers, and rushed towards Suyu's body. Suyu's level, as if he had been injected with chicken blood, went up in a whizzing way. Congratulations, your level has been raised to 24. Congratulations, your level has been raised to 25. Congratulations, your level has been raised to 27. Congratulations, Suya is so refreshing. The level is like taking a train, so happy. Well, in fact, Suyi only found out after the fact that the user can only get 1/10 of 10% of the experience value of the monster killed by the forbidden spell skill. Otherwise, if each job changer hoards a few axes, finds a few monster nests, and throws them in, wouldn't it be a direct max level? The number of experience points that can be obtained is also extremely terrifying, almost an astronomical figure. This is the reason why Suyi's level usually rises by train. Outside the canyon, Lin Yangxi and Eve were attracted by the explosion. At the same time, they all involuntarily stopped their movements. My god, what the hell is that? Lin Yangxi swallowed a mouthful of saliva, feeling terrified in her heart. Eve was also full of confusion. She was worried about Suyi. Suyi definitely couldn't have created such a powerful magic power if it was done by a necromancer. Wouldn't Suyi be in danger? She thought about it, and Lin Yangxi beside her had already exclaimed, "What should I do? Will Big Brother Su be okay?" After speaking, the two little girls became anxious, not even fighting. After a final discussion, they rode the giant dragon and flew towards the canyon, ready to check on Suyi's situation. At the same time, the large-scale forbidden spell skill Skyfire Liao Yuan has also come to an end with the last fireball falling. The whole forbidden spell skill is over. The canyon covered by the skill has completely turned into vacuum. Tens of thousands of undead monsters were killed. Not even the entity remained among them. There are also 6-headed necromancers. These unlucky ones didn't even have the chance to escape, so they were engulfed by the fireball. Then there were continuous injuries, and it was impossible to recondense the body and resurrect, so they were eliminated together. As for Suyi, he is still fine, and his level has reached level 30. His attributes have greatly increased. The details are as follows: name, Suyi; occupation, warrior; rank, class level 30; command power 38 health points, 93 attack, 22 defense, 92 speed, 20 equipment, Xianlin armor, streamer skill, heavy attack, charge 1 seconds, launch a fierce attack on the target, causing 9 times damage, with a 10% chance of causing a stun effect, whirlwind slash, rotate at a very fast speed, cut out a series of sword ki, and inflict multiple damages on the targets within the range. Fearless field, centering on oneself, open a field with a radius of 200 meters. The army in this field will increase its basic strength by 100%, and will not be deterred by high-level arms. A radius of 200 meters and a 100% attribute increases the full value, and the protagonist will not be able to get the increase if the protagonist's level is increased. The life value is close to 100,000, which is already comparable to some high-level arms. While checking, Suyi suddenly heard someone calling his name, quickly closed the attribute panel, and looked around. Immediately, she saw Lin Yangxi and Eve, riding a giant dragon, looking for themselves in the canyon. Smiling and shaking his head, Suyi patted Blazing's back. The latter took Suyi straight to where the two little girls were. "I'm here," Suyi shouted. The two little girls turned their heads together, and when they saw it was Suyi, they were overjoyed. "Brother Su, are you okay?" Lin Yangxi asked. Suyi shook her head. "Don't worry, I'm fine." Eve looked Suyi up and down to make sure that the guy didn't have any missing arms or legs. Then she felt relieved and asked, "Did you make that big magic just now?" Forbidden spell skills are so powerful that they look more like a huge fireworks show. Until now, Eve still has lingering fears in her heart. Suyi nodded. "It's just a forbidden spell skill, and now it has successfully killed the necromancers." Chapter 144. The Portal to Hell. Eve was even more shocked by the forbidden spell skill. She didn't know when Suyi would do this. Isn't the kind of level skills only available to legendary super magicians? Suyi is just a warrior, so how could he know this kind of thing? Seeing that Suyi didn't want to say anything, Eve had no choice but to keep her mouth shut. No words. "Okay, now that the necromancer has been killed, the bone demon outside will not be resurrected after being killed. It's time for us to launch a general attack," Suyi said. After finishing speaking, he took the two girls straight to the outside of the canyon. "The fighting here is pretty good, too. Although the 6-headed demon is still there, the 6-pointed star array of the necromancer has been destroyed by Suyi. Kill the bone demons at this time. They will not be resurrected." As for the other undead units, under the repeated attacks of the blade spiders, red-armored fire ants, and stone-throwing giants, they suffered terrible casualties. The quantity is less than half compared to the beginning of one. Suyi, the Lord, rejoined the battlefield. which cheered up the troops. The onslaught continued. The undead soldiers without the support of the necromancer were devoured piece by piece. Even a bone demon with a life value of 2 million cannot withstand the siege of the giant dragons at all. If he couldn't hold on for more than 2 minutes, his life value would be emptied, and he would turn into dry bones all over the place. Under the leadership of Suyi, the troops marched into the canyon. The Skyfire Liao Yuan summoned by Suyi before has cleared a vacant space in the canyon now. It's filled with monsters. It is also an undead monster, but it can no longer can't resist the sharpness of Suyi's arms. More than 40 giant dragons opened the way ahead, rushing forward unimpeded. The monsters were beaten to pieces, with casualties everywhere. 2 hours later, Suyi had led the dragons deep into the cracks of the canyon. This is the real lair of the undead. You can even see some buildings. After killing the last undead monster, Suyi jumped off, blazing back, and landed on the ground, scanning the surroundings. This place is inside the mountain, and the light is dim. Although it has not reached the point where you can't see your fingers, it is also possible to fall into the ditch while walking. Be careful, Suyi exhorted in a low voice. Hold the streamer in your hand tightly, and step forward. Blazing followed closely behind him, like a loyal bodyguard. It was the first time for Eva and Lin Yangxi to come to this kind of place. The light was dim, the floor was full of dead bones, and their hearts were pounding. They had no choice but to stick close to Suyi and move forward. Chapter 95. 3 people 3 went deeper and found some different things. That's a teleportation. That's right, it's a portal, similar to the one in the real-world secret realm. It is more than 20 meters in diameter, emits a purple-black light, and slowly rotates. Brother Su, what is this? Lin Yangxi pointed to the portal and asked with some uncertainty. Suyi swallowed a mouthful of saliva. If I'm not wrong, this should be the entrance to the plane of hell. What the hell? Lin Yangxi's face turned pale, and she took advantage of the situation to hide behind Suyi. Suyi is speechless. Lean on Lean, you are a pastor. Pastor, hello shepherd full of holy light. Teacher, you are so afraid of hell. You are probably a fake pastor. Eve should look much calmer and lower her voice. Then what should I do now? You are going to deal with it like this. Hearing this, Suyi fell into deep thought. He still remembered that when the Alliance army invaded here in the previous life, the portal had already been built to a diameter of more than 100 meters. That's right, more than 100 meters. Thousands of monsters from hell run out through this portal almost every second in this life. Because of Suyi's appearance, the undead don't have enough time to develop, so the portal leading to hell in front of me is only more than 20 meters in diameter. As for how to deal with this portal, Suyi hesitated. The best way is to destroy on the spot and completely cut off the entrance of hell to the real world. It's much safer here, at least for a short time. The other way is to leave this portal behind, find a chance to enter the plane of hell through this portal. Of course, doing so is extremely dangerous, but danger is usually tied to wealth. Go to hell to develop and get massive resources. This is beyond doubt the only prerequisite for doing so is strength, great power. Suyi hesitated for a moment, finally gritted his teeth, and decided to destroy the portal first. His current strength is good, but going to hell is still a bit risky. Secondly, the portal to hell is not the only one. As far as Suyi knows, there are at least 555 places with portals leading to hell. That being the case, why rush to hell for development? Destroy it. Keep this thing. It's a disaster. Suyi said this is his decision. Then this thing is going to be destroyed. Lin Yangxi asked. Suyi chuckled, took out the streamer, and hard a damage number pops up on the portal. Destroy it like this. The portal is also a kind of building. It has durability. If the durability is lost, the portal will naturally disappear. Hearing this, the 2 women were a little confused. Suyi snapped his fingers without giving them much time to think. Blazing, Ice, and several other high-level dragons came over under Suyi's order. They began to attack the portal repeatedly. What dragon's breath, what ice crystals, what claw strikes. They fell densely. Portal up to 50 million. Durability drops rapidly. It dropped by half in a short time, but at this moment, a sudden change occurred. The portal that kept showing damage numbers suddenly lit up. A figure emerged from the portal, a black hood, a stooped body, and a long scythe in his hand. That's a necromancer. When this guy came out, he was a little confused, and glanced at the dragons in front of him. Hey, who are you? Why are you here? The giant dragons didn't give it a good look, so they attacked it several times. The necromancer's health dropped by half in an instant, and he quickly shrank back in fright. Chapter 145. The Undead Knight and the Undead Summoning Bracelet. Inside the portal to hell, the necromancer who was repelled was stunned. What's the situation? How can there be a giant dragon at the no portal? Could it be that this stronghold has been breached? It must be so. No, I have to report the situation here quickly. Saying that, the necromancer flew towards hell at high speed. Before leaving, it still didn't forget to look back at the direction of the teleporter's exit. With lingering fear terrible if it had come back a second later, it would have turned into a pile of dead bones by now. The damage to the dragon is no joke on the other side. Su Yi, Lin Yangtze, and Eve were equally confused. What was that just now? The corners of Lin Yangtze's eyes twitched slightly. Eve gritted her silver teeth. It seems to be a necromancer, but we beat it back. Su Yi didn't speak, but thought about it. He saw very clearly just now that the one poking out from the portal was indeed a necromancer, but this guy was unlucky enough. He was attacked by a giant dragon as soon as he appeared. Fortunately, it reacted in time and withdrew to the portal immediately. Otherwise, as far as the dragon's damage is concerned, within a few seconds, it will definitely be killed. This necromancer is not dead, and must have discovered the situation here. It might have been reported by now. Thinking of this, Su Yi frowned. This is not a good thing after all. Those people on the plane of hell are not good stubble. Once the anger subsides, leading the army to march here will cause a lot of trouble. It's just that things have happened now, and it's impossible to change them. All Su Yi can do is to continue to become stronger in order to deal with possible troubles in the future. With a muffled bang, the durability of the portal leading to hell was emptied and collapsed. Successful. Lin Yangtze clapped her little hands with excitement. Su Yi didn't say much, but walked towards the other side. No matter how you say it is the main city of the undead, there must be treasure chests. Sure enough, after Su Yi entered another cave, he saw several treasure chests lying on the ground. One of them actually flashed a faint red light. From this ray of light, it is enough to see the grade of this treasure chest. Red treasure chests are rare. Su Yi quickly stepped forward and opened several treasure chests. Near the red treasure chest, open the orange resource chest and get a super resource pack. Open the orange currency treasure box and get 2. Open the orange treasure box and get the 7th tier unit. Undead Knight. The things that are opened are not bad. The level resource box, that is 40 million basic resources, enough to train many arms. This is especially true for 200,000 coins. Use. There is also a template for the Undead Knight troop. The level is the 7th level, which is even more precious. The Starfield territory happened to lack such middle and high level troops to settle in. This Undead Knight solved many problems for Su Yi. Collect all these things into the Lord's space. Su Yi set his sights on the last red treasure chest. Not much to say, just open it. A dazzling red light flashed, and at the same time, there was a system prompt. Congratulations, you have opened the red treasure chest. Obtain the Undead Summoning Bracelet 2, the Portal Blueprint 2, the Skeleton King's Crown, and the Level Source Pack 2, here. This long beat. Su Yi swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Big bang. Undead Summoning Bracelets, and there are still 2. The value of this thing alone is enough to drive the lords of the world crazy. The specific information is as follows. Undead Summoning Bracelet, rank, level 1. Additional skill, Undead Summoning. Undead Summoning. During battle, use this skill to transform dead soldiers within a radius of 5,000 meters centered on yourself, regardless of whether it is an enemy or a friendly army. It can be transformed into an undead. The undead inherits the body, 50% of the basic attributes, and after the transformation is successful, it will completely obey the order, and the summoner undead lasts for 10 minutes and can summon up to 500 units. Description. The bracelet worn by the King of Hell is stained with a strong breath of undead, which has a unique effect of resurrecting the undead. Fear. Su Yi's breathing was a little short. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. A large part of the reason why he came here in such a hurry was because of this thing. The Undead Summoning Bracelet can turn the soldiers killed on the battlefield into undead, and continue to fight for themselves even if there is only one level. There are 500 units that can be summoned. What is this concept? To make a metaphor, Armies A and B are at war. Army A has 1,000 units of troops, and so does Army B. The Armored Lord has the Undead Summoning Bracelet. The strength of the two armies is almost the same, and the casualties are almost the same. The leader of the armored army used the Undead Summoning Bracelet to revive the dead arms and use them again, so extraordinary that even the fallen units of the enemy army joined his camp one after another, and it also inherits 50% of the attributes of the ontology. Imagine what kind of screen-crushing Army B has to face. The final outcome can be imagined. The Undead Summoning Bracelet. The horror is here, and this is only level 1. Su Yi still vaguely remembers that after upgrading the Undead Bracelet to the full level 10th, the resurrected troops will inherit the main body's 100 attributes, and there are 100 summonable units. It will be terrifying at that time, especially in the late period of the Lord era. The era of confrontation between high-level arms, even more so your soldiers are fighting more and more. If you are afraid, you will scare others to death. Looking at the two bracelets strung together by unknown bones in his hand, Suya felt very happy, and quickly put them away. There are two in total, one for myself, and one for Sukainer at that time. The safety of the Dryad's territory will be even more secure then. Suya looked at the second treasure. Portal blueprint, level, description. Use this blueprint to have the authority to build a long-distance portal. The distance between the entrance and the exit must not exceed 2,000 kilometers. This is also a rare good thing portal. This is a building that can be built in two places, and it will be much more convenient to act at that time. Chapter 146, The Skeleton King's Crown. It just so happens that there is one in the Starfield territory and one in the Dryad territory. When the time comes, going to the Dryad territory will only be a matter of smoking a cigarette, and I will be happy. Suya thought in his heart his original plan was to capture a few necromancers and use their special abilities to create portals. Now it seems that it is not necessary with this portal building. What necromancer is needed? After going back, I will go to the Tree Demon territory and build the portals in the two places. It's a pity that there are only 2 copies of this blueprint transfer between 2 locations. Otherwise, Suya would have to build a whole series of teleportation circles. Ahem, it's getting too far. Not to mention a lot of portal blueprints, and a lot of resources. That's all. Put the portal blueprint away carefully. Then Suya looked at the last treasure. This is a crown. It is golden. It should be made of pure gold, and there are many exquisite gems inlaid on it, shining faintly in the dark cave. When Suya picked up the crown, the surrounding dragons also noticed what Suya was holding. All of them looked this way and sniffed loudly, especially Blazing. This guy can't wait to eat the crown in one bite. Go, 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 Suya scolded lightly, and drove these guys away. Dragons love gold, silver, treasures, and everything that glitters, and that seems to be true. The crown in front of me is made of pure gold and inlaid with many precious stones, so it is naturally very attractive to the giant dragons. As for the effect, it is also extremely domineering. Crown of the Skeleton King level. Description: after use, it can transform an undead creature whose level is not lower than the 7th rank into a Skeleton King. Skeleton King has a superhero template. Very powerful. Hero's token, Suya murmured, already understood. Coincidentally, in the previous orange treasure chest, he opened a 7th level undead unit, the Undead Knight. After returning to the Star Domain, summon the Undead Knight and integrate the Crown of the Skeleton King, and he can have another hero in minutes. Still superhero template suppressing the excitement in his heart, Suya put away the Skeleton King's crown and prepared to go home. Things have been settled here, so naturally there is nothing to do with them. Perhaps you will say that the props and resources obtained this time are relatively small. This is actually related to the development time of the main city of the undead in the last life. The main city of the undead developed for a full year and a half, and in this life, because of Suya's foresight, the development time of the main city of the undead is less than a month. It is not bad to be able to obtain these existing treasures. Let's go home, Suya ordered. Lin Yangxi, who was looking around, led the dragons towards the outside of the canyon. After they got out of the crack in the canyon, the 3 of them realized that the sky had already fallen. Fortunately, this place is not far from the Starfield. 3 people 3 rode on the giant dragon, and drove back with a giant stone slinger, the blade spider, and the red armored fire ant. More than an hour later, the Legion returned to the territory. Suya turned on the statue of the angel, and the warm and holy light will fill most of the territory from the sky of the Lord's Hall. The troops within this range are recovering their physical strength quickly. Of course, there are injuries as well. Although the previous battle was victorious, it also paid a considerable price. 1/3 of the red armored fire ants died in battle, making Suya strangely distressed. There are more than 30,000 red armored fire ants, and it takes a lot of time to train them. The second is the blade spider, this mutated Tier 4 unit. Its attributes and strength are invincible among units of the same level, but in the current battle, there are quite a few Tier 6 and Tier 7 units participating in the battle. The strength they can exert is very limited. Therefore, it's time for Suya to think about finding a more suitable large-scale storm troop for him in this battle. Half of the blade spiders were killed, which is not a small loss. Finally, there is the Slinger Giant, a 7th-tier unit, with rough skin and thick flesh, very resistant to beatings, and 10 of them died in battle. Casualties are acceptable, but this unit is slow, stupid, and has limited mobility. It's okay to fight a prepared battle, but if a war breaks out suddenly, their effect will be limited. Therefore, Suya is not going to use this unit as his main unit. There are also giant dragons. Each of them has a super life-saving ability, but none of them were killed. Not only that, even the wounded were healed by the Holy Dragon. At this moment, These arms entered the range shrouded by the holy light, enjoying the illumination of the holy light to dispel the pain and fatigue of the body. Very comfortable. And Su Yi, Eve, and Lin Yangxi 3. The former is preparing for the construction of buildings and the distribution of various materials. The latter two went to the kitchen to cook after a great battle. The three of them were already starving. Energy needs to be replenished as soon as possible in the Lord's Hall. Su Yi took out all his resource packs. A total of 3 level 3 resource packs. Each opening gets 4 million basic resources. 3 equals 120 million. A wave of riches. Happy opened 3 level 3 resources, and now the resource reserves of the star domain are as follows. Lord Hall, Lord, Su Yi level 5 Sky Lions, Cloud Territory Sub-Territory, Warhammer Tribe, Dryad Territory Building. 40 arms types, Dragon 10th rank, Centaur, 4th rank 4, Blade Spider, 4th rank 4, Goblin, 1st rank, Red Armor Fire Ant, 4th rank 4, Population 63 wood, 230,000 stone, 240,000 iron ore, 210,000 gold coins, 160,000 food, 210,000 currency, 290,000 upgrade requirements. Wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins are 2 million each. Except for gold coins, other wood, stone ore, and iron ore reserves have exceeded 200 million. This number is kind of scary. Su Yi swallowed a mouthful of saliva and brought his thoughts back to reality. After leaving the Lord's Hall, start preparing for the construction of the portal and the Undead Knight training camp. Portals are built in pairs, but there is no requirement to build at the same time. Therefore, Su Yi decided to build a main portal in the star field first, and then build a secondary portal in the Dryad domain to realize the communication between the two territories. Chapter 147, Undead Knight, Sprint and Array. After the two portals are built, Su Yi will be able to save a lot of time when he has to rush from the star domain to the Dryad territory. In this case, the two territories, no matter which one needs support, can quickly arrive through the portal. It can be said that the portal is a building facility that must be used between alliances in the middle of the Lord era and in the later period. Take out the blueprint of the portal, and Su Yi is ready to build it. The area of the star domain is not small, but during the construction that lasted for more than 2 months, it has already occupied all the open spaces in the territory. Therefore, there really aren't many vacant places in the Starfield territory. After much deliberation, Su Yi finally chose to build a portal in the left rear corner of the star domain. To build the main portal, you need to spend 5 million lumber, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each. Do you want to build it? The reminder sounded, leaving Su Yi speechless. 50 million basic resources, why don't you grab them? But for the convenience between the star domain and the Dryad, Su Yi had no choice but to hold back the pain. Choose build. With a bang, a huge portal phantom appeared in the open space ahead. Above the phantom, there is a progress bar. Su Yi glanced roughly, and found that the construction time actually took 240 hours. That's 10 days. It's so terrifying. Fortunately, Su Yi has a god level cooldown, which is enough to reduce the construction time by 99%. Anyway, it won't be built well in a while, so Su Yi is too lazy to wait. Chapter 97. Packed up and went straight to the outside of the star field. Cough cough. Why is it outside? In fact, there is no other way in the star field territory. There are dozens of buildings in total, and all the places that should be built have already been built. So this Undead Knight's camp, Su Yi is not going to build it in the star field. Instead, it is going to be built outside the star domain. There are two considerations in doing this. First, in order to save space in the star field, Su Yi's plan is to temporarily build the Undead Knight's camp outside the territory, then find a time in 2 days, and then recircle the land of the star field. This is very necessary anyway. The timber, stone mines, and iron ore reserves in the star field territory are as high as 200 million, so it's useless. At that time, the area of the star field territory will be expanded several times, and the original territory area will be surrounded by the current city wall. This layer will become the inner city. Second, Undead Knights are undead creatures, that is, those decayed skeletons. These guys are ugly and terrifying. If they are trained in the star field, wandering during the day, wandering at night, strange scenery. But if they can be trained in the city, there is no such concern anyway. Su Yi also has plans to build an outer city, so it's not a loss with these two plans. Su Yi went straight, find a suitable location on the open space in front of the city wall and start building. It costs 3 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold each to successfully build the Undead Knight's castle. It is expected to take 36 hours. The notification sounded, and on the open space in front of Su Yi, A strangely shaped castle appeared. Of course, it's just a phantom now. It took a lot of time to build. Suya didn't wait, turned around and went back to the territory for dinner. When they came to the kitchen, Lin Yangxi and Eve had already prepared a table of delicacies. Suya was not too polite, and sat down to eat. After eating and drinking, it was already half an hour later. Suya said hello, and then walked quickly towards the outside of the city of Starfield territory. The weather tonight is not bad, the moon is sparse, and the silvery moonlight falls on the earth, creating a fantastic color for the earth. After destroying the main city of the undead, without the influence of the necromancer, the undead monsters are no longer refreshed at night. It was much quieter than the previous few days. Suya walked to the undead night castle that had been built. The castle is somewhat similar to the one in the Central European period of the earth. The castle is made of neatly piled bricks, with a pointed roof, and a weird cold atmosphere around the whole body. Check the information, as follows: Undead Night Castle, Level 7 Grade 1 Unit 0 Training Template, Undead Night Training Cost 60,000 gold coins. Training time 12 hours. Upgrade required: wood, stone, iron ore, gold ore 600 each, 36 hours. A well-regulated 7th tier military training camp. Not much to say, just train directly. Spent 6 million gold coins to train 10 undead knights. The progress bar reappears and the training begins. Suya waited on the spot for 7 or 8 minutes, and the first undead knight trained successfully. This guy is clad in thick steel armor, covering his body made of decayed bones. Under the black helmet, 2 blue stars flickered, holding a huge sword in his hand. He rode a huge horse that was also a skeleton. The whole looks very similar to the undead knight in the pesticide mobile game Riot in the Civilization period. The only difference should be that there is a war horse under this guy's ass. Walking out of the castle, the undead knight quickly saluted Suya, sitting on horseback, holding a sword in his right hand, leaning his left hand on his chest, and bending over slightly. The corners of Suya's eyes twitched, and he began to check the attributes of the undead knight. Undead knight, level 7th level 1 HP, 12 attack, 40 defense, 50 speed, 25 skill. Night charge. Even if they have been transformed into undead, undead knights still maintain their status as knights in life. Stunned, riding a horse, charging towards the designated direction, causing a lot of damage, 20% chance to stun the enemy for a short time. This effect has no effect on targets whose level is higher than itself. Roar of war, let out a roar, remove the fear in your heart, increase the attributes of the whole body by 30%, and add fearlessness, which lasts for 1 minute. Array sprint. As an excellent knight, sprinting on the battlefield is a basic skill. Gather with other undead knights and array to launch a sprint in a certain direction, which will cause huge damage to the enemy army. The more undead knights you have together, the more damage you can cause. Description: the knights who died on the battlefield respond to the call of the necromancer and wake up again. They will once again sway their power on the battlefield to serve their master. Chapter 148, SS-level Skeleton King. Andre Suya took a look at the attribute galaxy of the undead knight, and it was okay. 7th order undead monsters. The attributes are quite satisfactory, but the skills surprised Suya a little, not to mention night charge and war roar. They are very common skills. The former is a basic attack, and the latter is an enhanced attribute. Only the third skill, formation sprint, made Suya take a few more glances. Gather a large number of undead knights together, array and sprint towards a certain direction. If the sprint is successful, it will cause huge damage to the enemies in that direction. The more undead knights participating in the sprint, the higher the damage that can be caused. In Suya's opinion, this is a good skill. The most frightening thing about a knight unit is charging and sprinting. Riding a galloping horse, the speed is fast, with overwhelming momentum, and the powerful attack is enough to easily disintegrate the defense of the target. After winning, the undead knight's array sprint skill almost perfectly fits the characteristics of the knight unit sprinting in formation. The damage it brings is not just as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Most of the power will increase geometrically. Suya even began to imagine the scene where he trained hundreds of thousands of undead knights and commanded them to rampage on the battlefield. Definitely very touching, not bad. Suya stroked his chin and praised. He decided that the next violent attack plan will hit these undead knights. Don't say anything else. Let's train these guys to hundreds or thousands of heads first. Not long after, there were 3 more trained undead knights in front of the castle. Suya glanced at it, chose the one that was more pleasing to the eye, and then took out the Skeleton King's crown from the Lord's space. This thing can transform any undead unit whose first rank is not lower than 7th rank into hero, a rare good thing. Hold the crown of Skeleton King in your hand. It soon attracted the attention of the 3 undead knights. They seem to be very concerned about the crown, and have been staring at it. Suya coughed lightly, and looked at an undead knight. "Are you willing to accept the inheritance of this crown and become the Skeleton King?" The undead knight who was questioned was stupid, and he was stunned for a while before nodding firmly. Seeing this, Suyu was not polite, ordered the guy to bow his head, and then put the crown on the guy's head. As soon as the crown was put on, a sudden change occurred. The undead knight let out a roar, and a purple-black light shot out from his whole body. The radiance was strong, and it looked hazy. There was another roar, and the purple-black color began to fade away. A figure standing upright on the ground appeared in front of Suyu. The black battle armor, covered with mysterious patterns, is shining, representing the crown of supreme authority, holding a giant sword, and the fire of soul is burning fiercely in the hollow skull. This is really a skull. Of course, this is the King of Skulls. Seeing the Skeleton King, the two undead knights quickly bowed down to salute, and the Skeleton King walked towards Suyu. It was evolved by Suyu, so it maintains 100% loyalty to Suyu. "Master, thank you for calling me out." The Skeleton King. The voice is a little hoarse, but it's much better than the shrill voice of the necromancer while speaking. The fire of soul in Skeleton King's head kept vibrating, which looked very strange. Suyu waved his hand. "You don't need to be too polite, just introduce yourself." The Skeleton King nodded, then got up and introduced himself. "My name is Andre, I'm west of hell." After listening to Andre's introduction, Suyu also had a general understanding of this guy. The crown of the Skeleton King is actually equivalent to a token. Andre was killed in the battle in the early years, and a trace of remnant soul rested on the crown. As long as this crown is fused with any undead monster whose first rank is not lower than 7th rank, it can be summoned again. That's what Suyu did just now. As for Andre's information, it is as follows: Skeleton King, Andre, occupation, warrior template, loyalty, 10 level, 1 command power, 85 HP, 90 attack, 45 defense, 25 speed, 12 equipment, command sword of sword, obsidian armor, cloak of shadow, king's crown skill, jump and slash, leap high, deal 2 times heavy blow to the enemy in front, and have a 3% chance to stun the target. This effect is invalid for targets whose level is higher than their own. As the king of the undead, he is born with the ability to command the undead. Leading the troops under his command to conquer the world can increase the attribute of the undead under his command by 20%, and apply the effect of fearlessness. Resurrection of undead. During the battle, consume 50% of your HP to resurrect the army of dead undead. The reanimated undead can exist permanently, and the upper limit of a single resurrection unit is 200. Description: the once famous monarch among the undead clan was helplessly framed and fell, but Andre is very powerful, and he has his own way of leading troops to fight. Suyu roughly glanced at it. The attribute is not bad. As for skills, jumping and chopping is Andre's skill, which is used in normal battles. Crusade is a lord's skill, similar to Suyu's useless domain. It can increase the strength of the undead under his hands. This team boosting skill is very useful in war. The last undead resurrection skill. This is the god skill. Consume 50% of your health to revive the dead. Unlike the undead summoning bracelet, the resurrection of this skill is a permanent resurrection. Undead summoning bracelet. The resurrected undead can only exist for 10 minutes, and only has 50% of the attributes of the main body after 10 minutes. Even the surviving undead will lose their fighting power, but that's not the case with Andre's skills. Chapter 98. This skill adds permanent resurrection. There is no time limit. If after the resurrection, if it is not killed again, it means that the undead can live forever. This is enough to reduce the battle damage to a great extent. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is a divine skill. It's a pity that this kind of skill can only be used on undead. Chapter 149. Re-enclosure, territory expansion. Subscribe for the third watch. The undead are a kind of magical race. They are dead, but because of the magical power, they regain the ability to act from another point of view. The undead itself is dead, so why not kill it? So, similar to the undead summoning bracelet, the undead revival, props and skills, usually only have effects on the undead. It has no effect on other arms, as well as humans themselves. This can be regarded as one of the few one-sidedness of this skill. Very good, I will mix with me in the future, and these guys will also be handed over to you to manage. Suyu pointed to the summoned undead knights. Hearing this, Andre quickly saluted. Thank you, master. I will definitely do my best to open up territories for my master and conquer in all worlds. The corners of Suyu's lips twitched. He didn't have such an idea of expanding the territory and conquering the world. He just wanted to keep his 3 acres of land, protect the people you love, and those who love you are not hurt. But seeing Andre's sincere attitude, Suya didn't say much. He beckoned and took this guy to the city, then climb up the city wall and prepare to let it guard here. Even Lin Yangxi just finished their business and came out to find Suya. Seeing Suya walking up and down the city wall with a skeleton frame at this moment, he was terrified. Brother Su, who is it? Lin Yangxi pointed at Andre. Her small face turned pale. Although she has experienced previous battles, this little girl is still afraid of things like skeletons and bones. Suya coughed lightly, and introduced, "This is our new member, Andre." Andre was humble and bowed to Lin Yangxi and Eve. The two little girls looked at each other, which made them unable to react. Suya didn't say much, and continued to lead Andre on the city wall. Andre is a rare king-type hero. In other words, this guy must have his own way of managing things. Therefore, Suya is going to hand over the city defense work of the star domain to Andre anyway. This guy's loyalty to himself is as high as 100%, and there will never be a possibility of betrayal. Let it take care of it. Suya is very relieved. It took more than an hour for Suya to introduce the various facilities in the star field, then upgraded the undead night castle that had been trained, and went back to sleep with the two little girls. Cough cough. Of course, sleep here is separate, don't think too much. The next day, the sun rises in the east, and Suya wakes up early straight out of town. The level of the undead night castle has been upgraded to the second level. The information is as follows: Undead Night Castle, level, Tier 7 level. 2 units. 10 training template, Undead Night training cost. 60,000 gold coins. Training time. 12 hours required for upgrade. Timber, stone, iron ore, and gold mine are each 120,000, and the time is 48 hours. Trainable units increased to 50. Without further ado, let's continue training. Consume 2.4 million gold coins to train 40 undead knights. The reserves of gold coins have decreased a lot, only about 70 million left. These resources, Suya decided to invest in the construction of the territory. Since it is decided to develop the star domain into a main territory, it must expand its scale. First of all, territory area must be large, otherwise, when someone walks in, it looks like a village in a city. Cheng He is standing on the city wall with Suya, looking around. The star domain is at the foot of Manu Mountain. There are mountains on the left, right and behind. Only in front of him was an empty plain. That being the case, Suya's idea is to build a city wall on the mountain, surrounded on 3 sides. Wrap the entire Manu Mountain in this way. The distance between the left and right city walls will exceed 3,000 meters. The area of the star domain has expanded dozens of times. Just do it. The corners of Suya's lips curled up. Just at that moment, Andre came over. Suya glanced at it and couldn't help frowning. I don't know what's going on, but this guy looks a little depressed. Andrew, what's wrong with you? Suya asked. Andre moved his steps, walked up to Suya and stood still. Lord, my subordinates are undead, and if they stay under the sun, they will suffer a negative effect of 20%. Weak attributes. Suya frowned, and checked Andre's attributes, and it was true. This guy's attributes have dropped by 20%. Feeling helpless at the moment, this is a common problem of undead arms. Then is there a way to get in touch with the state? Suya asked. Andre thought for a moment and said, the only way is to increase our strength. As long as our strength increases to a certain extent, we can ignore the negative status of 20% attribute weakening. Suya heard the words and understood. To put it bluntly, it's about leveling up. That's easy to do. Find a time to let Andre take the knights out for a walk, and his strength will definitely improve a lot. Thinking of this, Suya snapped his fingers. You find a cool place to rest first. I will take you to improve your strength at night. Hearing that, Andre's soul fire flickered in his head, and he nodded again and again. Thank you, Lord. With that said, he turned around and went to find a shady place. Suya continued with the previous plan. With a blazing hello, he flew into the sky above the territory start enclosure. Finally, Suya circled a city wall with a length of 260 meters. It is about 800 meters long and 500 meters wide. Of course, the shape is irregular and just follows the mountains, stretching all the way just like the Great Wall of Xia Kingdom. After delineating the land, Suya is ready to build. The total length of the city wall is 260. Whether it costs quarry ore, gold coins are 2.6 million each, wood and iron ore are 1.3 million each to build a first-level city wall. Suya chose yes with a bang. A phantom of a city wall more than 10 kilometers long appeared at the top of the mountain range, surrounded by Suya like a winding dragon. It is extremely magnificent. Suya rode blazing, flew high in the sky, witnessed the wall rising from the ground, and began to build. Lin Yangxi and Eve also heard the movement from the surrounding mountains. They all ran out of the room to check when he saw Suya enclosing the entire Manu Mountain. His breath became a little short of breath. This is too awesome. Chapter 150 Undead Legion Leveling, one more subscription. It took 2 hours to complete the construction of the first level city wall and close the entire Manu mountain in it. The city wall looks like a giant dragon winding its way along the mountains. The only downside is that the city wall is only level 1, and its height is only a little over 3 meters, so it doesn't have much defensive effect. After all, in the Age of Lords, there were quite a lot of large arms. It is not impossible to climb up the city wall in minutes if you encounter some giants with a height of 5 or 6 meters. As for the flying units, you can't stop them even if you reach the 10th level of the city wall. Only some air defense equipment can be installed on the city walls, such as giant cannons, giant crossbows, mage towers and other buildings in order to resist the invasion of flying arms. Suyi rode blazing and inspected along the city wall. After confirming that there was no problem, he began to upgrade. Level 1 becomes level 2, level 2 becomes level 3. The resources consumed in this are multiplied. 50 million resources have been thrown down, and the time has come. Tonight the level of the city wall has been upgraded to level 4, with super high durability. The height is about 15 meters, unless you encounter flying units. Otherwise, relying solely on ordinary troops, they would not be able to easily leap over the 15-meter high city wall. The entire city wall is made of black basalt, and its defense is very good. From a distance, it looks like a black dragon perched on a mountain. Yi was exhausted all day and returned to the star field. He decided to let go of the upgrade of the city wall. There are 2 reasons. The first is the problem of resources. It takes 60 million resources to upgrade the 4th level city wall to the 5th level city wall. It's not that Suya can't produce these resources, but he plans to use these resources to train troops. Secondly, the 4th level city wall has a durability of 800,000. It is made of basalt, and its defense is even higher. For now, these 4-level city walls are completely sufficient. Therefore, Suyi decided to give up upgrading the city walls, and instead focused on training arms and installing defensive buildings. It is not an easy task to completely fortify a 260-meter-long city. This also requires a lot of resources. It is estimated that Suyi will spend all of the 300,000 coins. Chapter 99. But there is no way to do this. To make the territory stronger, the enclosure must be large. The bigger the better. The bigger the enclosure, the more buildings you can build, and the more perfect the various facilities in the territory will be. Naturally, the territory will become stronger. After returning to the territory, Suya finished his dinner and then found Andre. As agreed before, Andre will go out to practice tonight. Suya did what she said. The sky has completely darkened. Without the glare of the sun, Ender's undead knights have recovered their spirits. Seeing Suya coming, they lined up neatly on the outer city ground. Seeing this scene, Suya was slightly shocked. After all, they are professionally trained knights. They are neatly arranged in formation, solemn and solemn, just like a military parade. It's just that the number is a bit small. Otherwise this scene is enough to make people's blood boil. Very good. The next task I want to give you is. With that said, Suya made a series of arrangements for Andre and the undead knights. The arrangement is very simple. For the safe construction of the territory, tonight, the undead knights will be led by Andre to clear the monsters around the outer city wall. On the one hand, it is for leveling Andre, and on the other hand, it is also for the safety of the city defense of the Starfield territory. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Andre didn't refuse, but agreed wholeheartedly under Suya's gaze. He set off with 50 undead knights. The sound of the horses' iron hooves trampling the ground gradually faded away. Not long after, the undead knight army disappeared into the night. Suya turned around and began to upgrade the level of the undead knight castle. It costs 1.6 million lumber, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each to raise the level of the undead knight's castle to level 3. The progress bar reappears and the upgrade begins. Suya didn't want to wait, and stepped back to the inner city. Finally found a blaze. An order has been given to the dragons responsible for patrolling the outer city walls. There was no city defense equipment built on the city wall, and Suya was still worried about relying on Andre to lead the army of undead knights to patrol. Therefore, he decided to let the dragons also participate in the patrol. They can fly and are extremely maneuverable. Flying around the city wall slowly a few times can ensure the safety of the city wall. After arranging these things, Suya went back to her room to rest. Time flies, and it is already the next day. Andre led the army of undead knights back to the territory before dawn. Suyi went to check their information and was overjoyed. Andre's level has been raised to level 5, and most of the other undead knights are level 2 or 3. The attribute has greatly increased, making the combat effectiveness of the entire legion much stronger. Good job. Continue tonight, Suya said. Andre lowered his head. Good lord. After speaking, under Suyi's instruction, He led the undead knights to find a shady place to rest, and Suya also started the training of the third batch of undead knights. By the way, level 3 undead knight castle, the number of trainable units has soared to 200. Without further ado, let's start training. It costs 9 million gold coins to train 150 undead knights. The reminder sounded, and the gold coin reserves in the Starfield territory were instantly emptied, causing Suya pain in the flesh. This is the resource that he opened after purchasing the resource pack with 100,000 coins. All of a sudden it disappeared again. Helpless, had no choice but to return to the Lord's Hall. 20 sleeping giants were put on the shelves, and some resource packs were exchanged in the system wall. By the way, a total of 5 levels of resources for each resource of 2 million. 555 is 100 million with the gold coins. Suya began to prepare for the construction of city defense equipment. Little did they know that as soon as they left the outer city, they saw a small team walking towards the valley in front of them. Taking a closer look, it was Vulcan who came. This guy received news a few days ago that Suya was back. My eldest brother is back, he dare not neglect. Quickly packed up the resources, and drove the chariot to this side. What he didn't expect was that he went to the Starfield to take a look. Fuck, why is there an extra wall here? After searching for a while, Vulcan finally found the entrance, and I saw Eve and Lin Yangtze at the entrance, and only then did I confirm the existence of the Starfield territory. Chapter 151, a new task for Vulcan, to decorate the city wall. Subscribe for the second update. At this moment, Vulcan saw Suya from a distance, jumped off the chariot immediately, and ran towards Suya. My lord, long time no see, the changes here are so great. Vulcan sighed in admiration, looking around at the city wall that encloses the entire Maniu mountain. It is admiration from the bottom of my heart to build such a city wall. The resources spent are astronomical. Suya shrugged. It's just a trivial matter. Why are you here today when you have time? The corner of Vulcan's lips twitched, and he coughed, likely to cover up his embarrassment. Didn't I hear that you came back? So I specially brought you the resources to be offered. As he spoke, he pointed to the chariots following him. Suya frowned, and stepped forward to check a total of 30 million basic resources, although not many, but don't waste it. I don't remember needing so many. Suya said it's only been a little over a month since the last rent collection, and Vulcan doesn't need to offer 30 million resources at all. But now Vulcan smiled and rubbed his hands. Lord, do you still remember the dryad I told you about last time? Seeing Vulcan's wretched look, Suya understood this guy is thinking about the dryad. It's all inside, you can take it back later. Suya said. Vulcan was overjoyed upon hearing this. Dwarves have a unique understanding and superb technology for forging, mining, and building giant cities, but in terms of growing food, dwarves are almost no different from Ziobe. Although it is not impossible for the grain to be harvested, it cannot be harvested every year. The dryad's specialty is growing plants. It can be said that if Vulcan can bring this group of dryads back, it will be able to completely solve the feeding problem of the Warhammer tribe. At that time, you will no longer need to eat whole grains. Thank you, brother. I would like to ask, how many tree demons you brought back this time? Vulcan rubbed his hands with interest. Suya waved his hand. Don't worry about this, I still have something to do here, and I need your help. Vulcan's expression froze, but he quickly realized, and said hastily, please tell me. With his hands behind his back, Suya stepped towards the direction of the outer city wall. Seeing this, Vulcan quickly nodded and followed. Suya is a big boss. He doesn't want identity in front of big bosses. I heard that you dwarves will build city defense buildings. Vulcan nodded. Yes, we have a series of blueprints, and we can build various types of artillery. Suya snapped his fingers. Okay, a new task, install city defense equipment on the city wall. With that said, Suya pointed to the outer city wall of the star domain. Vulcan was shocked and almost fell to the ground. Suya didn't think too much, and continued, don't worry, I will provide the materials. Vulcan smiled wryly. Brother, this is not a matter of material or not. This city wall is more than 20,000 meters long. How many city defense buildings have to be built? But this is Suya's order. Vulcan will not dare to defy, so he nodded with a wry smile. Good lord, but before that, I have to go back and make arrangements, and then bring a group of people over. Suya nodded. These are trivial matters as long as Vulcan will obediently build city defense equipment for himself. All of these will be fine. Dwarves have a wide variety of city defense equipment, which is enough to protect the entire star domain in all directions. Secondly, the dwarves are professional construction geniuses, and if they do it, they should be able to save a lot of materials. Mosquito legs are also meat, so Suya took Vulcan into the inner city of the star domain. When he got here, Vulcan was stunned and shocked again. The first thing I saw was the giant dragon. These guys are huge. and they even fly around in the air from time to time. Vulcan saw them at first sight. The number is several times higher than the last time I saw it. Vulcan was shocked. What the hell, are you in the wholesale business of giant dragons? This is a giant dragon. Hey, they are still mass-produced. Suyi ignored Vulcan's shock and took him straight to the meeting place of the Dryads. There are a total of 50 tree demons, busy in the spiritual field opened up by Suyi behind the star domain. Seeing this, Vulcan's eyes glowed, and his mood became even more excited. Wishing he could do it right away, he ran up, hugged the Dryad and kissed him. There are so many tree demons, how much food must be grown? My lord, are these all for me? Chapter 100. Vulcan swallowed. Suyi rolled his eyes at him. It's a good idea. I'll give you half, and I'll use the other half. Vulcan was a little disappointed, but this emotion only existed for a moment and then disappeared without a trace. Half of 50 heads is 25 heads, which is not a lot. Then I will thank the Lord. When I go back, I will pay the rest of the payment. Vulcan Road Dryads are precious wealth, never cheap. As far as the resources he brought just now, the surplus is only about 10 million. With 10 million basic resources, it is impossible to buy 25 Dryads. Suyi waved his hand when he heard the words. Forget it, you take these tree monsters. I don't want the payment. You just install defensive facilities on my city wall, and it will be evened out. When Vulcan heard this, his feelings were good anyway. Whether he pays for the goods or not, the task of decorating the city wall is inevitable, as everyone knows. This Suyi is actually so upright. Say these words well, actually. It's understandable to look at the problem from Suyi's point of view. He doesn't like to take advantage of others because it doesn't make sense. Be more sincere, okay? After everything was arranged, Vulcan bid farewell, returned to the Warhammer tribe with 25 Dryads. He has already promised that after he returns to the Warhammer tribe, he will arrange the affairs there and bring his dwarf decoration team here as soon as possible. Renovate the outer walls of the Star Domain. Chapter 152. Brand new Star Domain. The next day, sure enough, Vulcan rushed to the star field with a large army of dwarves. They even brought a lot of construction equipment, which looks quite professional. Suyi was not stingy, and directly traded 50 million basic resources to Vulcan, and a group of people boarded the outer city wall. Finding a flat place, Vulcan took out a blueprint and spread it out in front of Suyi. Lord, please take a look at this and choose the building you want to build. Suyi glanced at it, and there were at least 20 kinds of buildings marked on it. It seems that dwarves are building geniuses, and it is true. The outer city of the Star Domain stretches for 26,000 meters, which is very long, and on the side outside the city wall, the terrain is even more complicated. There are flat plains, dense forests, and steep cliffs. Therefore, the city defense buildings built on the city wall should also change with the changes of the terrain outside the city. Flat plains are most likely to be targeted by large numbers of monsters. The mighty charge of the large army, therefore, corresponding to the city walls of this terrain, it is best to build some city defense weapons with great power and range attacks such as cannons, mage towers, etc. The dense forest is a natural shelter. There may be monsters sneaking in light plains. It is best to install large-scale attack city defense equipment. Finally, there is a steep cliff, a place where large-scale troops cannot cross. The only thing to be wary of is flying units, and some fast and highly maneuverable units. The city defense equipment corresponding to this terrain is preferably a heavy crossbow. It has a fast rate of fire and has the effect of quick point kill. Suyi expressed his thoughts, and soon got Vulcan's approval. That's true, then I will build it according to your request. Build a Type 0 artillery in the plains, with a range of more than 100 meters, and it is very powerful. It is enough to ensure that the troops below the 6th level can be handled with one shot. There is also a mage tower. Slow down the enemy's attack speed. The forest area is similar to the plain area. Use the combination of mage towers and artillery, and finally the steep cliff area. The most important thing to watch out for in this type of place is flying units, so building a heavy crossbow is the most appropriate. After listening to Vulcan's arrangement, Suyi nodded. That's right, build it like this. Remember to build heavy crossbows at intervals on the city wall, and be responsible for cleaning up sporadic monsters. There is no way. The territory is built in the wild, which means that it is always exposed to the eyes of monsters, and it is difficult to guarantee that there will not be some monsters without eyes approaching here. When the giant cannon and mage tower are launched, there will be great movement. Boom boom boom, whistling, ringing at night. It's strange that it affects the quality of sleep, but the heavy crossbow does not have a long range, and it needs to be used to move. Suyi Vulcan also understood this truth, so Sheng started to lead his own men to do it with the support of a large number of resources from Suyi. The dwarves built very quickly. The soldiers were divided into two groups, And they got up in half an hour with one shot like the one built on the walls of the Warhammer Horde. It is very powerful. The construction continued. Cannons, mage towers, and heavy crossbows all stood up on the city wall. Suya lost interest after watching it for a while, went down the city wall, and returned to the Lord's Hall for the next week. Vulcan led his small troops to be busy on the city wall outside the Starfield after a week of hard work. The entire city wall was finally fully armed. All kinds of defense facilities and attack facilities are available, and Suya didn't stay idle during these 7 days. During the day, lead the dragons to patrol around the territory, attack the discovered secret realm. After 7 days, there was a blue mystery and a purple mystery in the Starfield territory, which is not a bad harvest. In addition, the Undead Knight army has also begun to take shape. There are as many as 500 of them, and they are mighty and mighty. When they charge together, they are very scary. Skeleton King Andre's level has been successfully raised to level 20, and he has become as small, and this guy's leadership ability was gradually exposed in front of Suya's eyes. He really was a genius. It's no wonder that before falling, he could become the Skeleton King. Everything is going in a good direction. Suya walked around the city wall and completed the inspection. You did a good job. Now, even if there are thousands of troops wanting to attack my star domain, it will never be easy. Suya praised with Suya's approval. Vulcan smiled happily. Haha, as long as the Lord likes it. If there is nothing else, then I will go back first. Suya nodded. The city defense buildings have been built, and it doesn't make much sense for Vulcan and others to stay here. They want to go back, so go back. Watching Vulcan's chariot leave the city gate, Suya looked away. Now is the time to plan for the next step. The star domain has already taken shape, and it just needs to develop slowly, and the portal between the star domain and the Dryad has not been built yet. This is Suya's next plan also. It has been nearly 20 days since I left the Tree Demon territory. I don't know what happened to little girl Sukainer. Although he intended to train her, he was still a little worried. After all, thinking of this, Suya stepped down the city wall and went straight to the Lord's Hall. After arriving here, Lin Yangtze and Eve have already prepared meals. Brother Su, I'm about to call you. Come quickly, it's time to eat. Lin Yangtze greeted. Suya nodded, found a place to sit down, and began to eat. While eating, he said, the things here are temporarily done. After this meal, wait a minute, I will set off to the Tree Demon territory. You guard this place well. As soon as these words came out, Eve and Lin Yangtze looked at each other. Is this going to stay and guard the house again? But they didn't dare to disobey Suya's order, so they nodded in agreement. Suya quickly solved the problem of eating, then went out to find Chi Lai and set off. He left all the remaining 40 giant dragons in the star field. Now that the star domain covers a larger area, it naturally needs more guarding power. Dragon, Undead Knight, Slinging Giant, Blade Spider, should be enough. Chapter 153. The Griffin King, Chirp Me, a more subscription required. Riding Blazing, facing the strong wind, Suya headed south all the way to Zhangzhou. These days, the little girl has been in contact with Lin Yangtze based on the analysis of the letters she sent. The development of the Dryad's territory should be fairly stable. Didn't encounter too many problems. This reassured Suya a lot. Otherwise, if he wants to run 2 places in a row, a lot of unnecessary time will be wasted. Of course, the time-wasting thing of traveling between 2 places probably won't happen again in the future as long as Suya goes to the Tree Demon territory this time. Release the portal. It is much more convenient to go to the Tree Demon territory from the star domain. With anticipation in their hearts, Suya and Chi Lai embarked on the journey. 1 person and 1 dragon. After flying continuously for a day, it finally entered the territory of Zhangzhou. This site is still the same. The only difference is that those territories have become much larger than what Suya saw last time. It seems that during this period of time, not only Suya is developing, but other lords are also not idle. Flying over the territory of the Tree Demon, retracting its blazing wings, it swooped down from the sky. Not long after, it landed on the open space in the Tree Demon's territory. The giant dragons such as Hanbin who stayed here had keen senses, and when they sensed the approach of Fiery, they came out of their habitats one after another. Suya jumped off Blazing's back and walked straight towards the Lord's Hall. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.